Alright, Kenneth, are you ready?
I hope you're doing the real comp and real fur, because I'm getting a lot of wind coming from over there.
That would be I don't know. Something. It's a something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. Whatever. I do what I want. Man, apparently my ping is just going to eat shit. What the fuck? What is up with this, man? This is really annoying for these stuff to be stupid. I'll run the speed test real quick. Oh, live streaming. YOLO.
So we're live.
No, yeah. Just
Good.
in the intro. So yeah, we're talking on the intro while we sort out some technical difficulties here. And I crack open a cold one with my boy. I should get out my Pacific Rim job and drink that too. Stomach's kind of fucky though. Who cares? Get totally wasted and sleep, and then wake up at fucking dick o'clock in the morning to do work. I'm totally looking forward to that. Whoa.
Okay, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Table Talk Thursday, episode 61.
Wow.
With your host.
My fucking doing the speed test and like ping at 70. This is awful.
Ooh.
Yes. As he said, welcome to Table Talk Thursday, episode 61. Your
Hey,
weekly
host.
source for news.
Raining Death 99.
With your host,
Awesome.
Talker Brother _1.
With
the
the
co-host, Rating Death 909. Awesomeness. Get it. And we're starting. Yeah, close enough
You
to
are entirely breaking
8:30.
up.
Am I actually?
You're breaking up badly.
I don't see anything. Oh, there it
I
is.
can't understand a thing.
20 and 20. It's fine. Everything's fine.
No, it's really not.
Yeah, everything's fine for me.
I mean, my ping is 10.
My ping is 86. Anyway. Here's the actual talk show screen. Fantastic. Hello, everybody. Host? Co-host? Guy. That guy. There we go. As per the norm. I need to get that there stuff. Did you send me that?
Yeah.
No?
Dude, let me see what the hell. Where is it? Click on that. I don't know, Google Docs keeps changing things around now.
Speaking of which, I used the Google URL shortener today to try to get somebody to purchase me a Logitech gaming mouse for work.
Uh-huh.
And so a lot of Google URLs will no longer work next year.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna have to go back to like Bitly or whatever.
They're replacing them with Fire something or another.
Firecrotch. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That shit's fire, my boy.
This shit is on fire.
Yeah. Oh, hey, look, the top news changed. Two worlds news.
Actually, no. We have a special report on police brutality in America.
Oh, is this an entire, like, is this a special segment for police brutality that we're doing here?
Yep.
Oh.
There has been so much of it this week.
I was going to say.
We actually have to do an entire segment on it, because this week has been especially brutal for police brutality in America.
Yeah, so, oh wow, I misspelled police. I feel bad.
Like, normally, folks, we would just roll this into, like, U.S. news, because, of course, it's always U.S. police. But, no, this week has been an extreme outlier of news about police brutality.
See, I was watching, something came on in Taco Cabana yesterday, of, like, a dude beating the shit out of this chick on a beach. And it's like, the fuck? And one of our coworkers was like, at what point does a, police officer need to destroy a woman like that, And I was like, well, that's definitely police brutality. Oh, and the news report's like, and he's not being charged. And I was like, of course not. This wouldn't be America if that man was getting charged.
Yep.
Trying to
So,
my throat.
So while he's doing that, I'm going to
Here
start off with the first story, which technically it doesn't actually account. Well, there's police brutality in it. No, not really police brutality, but there's corrupt police, I should say. This is talking about Baltimore. For folks, if you've been listening for a while, you know we've talked about Baltimore and their rogue and corrupt police
it's
who have been
almost as if I'm
extorting the
not
citizenry.
fucking surprised.
But I'm actually surprised in this case because they've actually been prosecuted.
No.
It only takes years of police abuse and theft, and robbing people and beating people and just indiscriminately stealing and selling hard drugs. You only have to do that for about a decade or more to finally get prosecuted for something.
Holy shit! The mixer like layout changed. Oh, okay. I guess I had hidden chat or something. Like it was full screen. It scared me for a minute. Oh yeah, we're streaming IRL under both like categories or under both streaming services today.
Okay.
Just not really anything important. Just heads up. You know,
anyways, yes.
Twitch still says I'm doing totally accurate Battle Simulator. Anyway.
It doesn't to me.
Oh, okay. It shows it on my dashboard for some reason. Oh, there we go. Now it's updated. I had to refresh like the 20th time.
Yep. So yes, the rogue Baltimore Police Unit ringleader Wayne Jenkins has been sentenced.
That's such a funny name.
Sobbed as he was sentenced to 25 years in prison for a corruption scandal prosecutors called breathtaking.
So which prison is he going to? Are these federal charges or no?
I believe these are federal charges, yes.
Well, if he sent anybody to federal, he's gonna get fucked up. Actually, anybody that knows he's a cop, that is a crooked cop, oh, they're gonna love fucking him up.
Yeah, which that's actually already happened.
Oh, he's already been fucked up in prison or in jail? Nice.
Yeah. So he was arrested along with almost every member of the unit, the GTTF.
Isn't this the unit that we covered where like some of them were going away for guns and drugs and shit?
Yep. The very same.
Yeah. This is literally the Den of Thieves group.
Pretty much. He was convicted on multiple counts of including racketeering, robbery, and falsification of records. Right. Jenkins pleaded guilty in January and admitted taking part in at least 10 robberies of Baltimore citizens, planting drugs on innocent people, and reselling drugs he stole from suspects on almost a daily basis, including heroin, cocaine, and prescription painkillers. Fuck! If I've not seen a dirtier cop. You know, I can't remember a time in modern recent history where a cop has gotten this dirty. Have you?
Well, I've seen some dirty cops because I know people. I know some dirty people over there in our hometown, but everybody's dirty in our hometown, realistically.
Yeah, but I mean, racketeering and robbery and planting drugs and selling drugs that were stolen.
Actually, yeah, all of the above I know of happening in Bay City. Yes, literally all of that.
Well, sounds like the FBI needs to do some investigating.
Right? Oh yeah, and then there was that thing recently, that child porn thing. Did you ever look more into that?
I didn't even see that story.
I remember I put it out and I told you, you said you tried to find it on the Tribune's homepage or whatever.
Yeah, I did try. Yeah, that's right, it was on the homepage, but I couldn't actually read it. Yes, but prosecutors urged the judge to sentence him to the maximum of 30 years, adding that the unit's corruption resulted in 1,700 criminal cases being thrown out.
Oof. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
The largest share of those crimes belonged to him, says U.S. Attorney Leo Wise told the court. He perverted the criminal justice system. You know, I'd like to say that this is an isolated incident. I would like to say that, but it's not. Crimes like these are being committed across America, in your hometown, every day.
Yep, because as far as police are concerned, they are either above or the law.
As long as police continue to defend the thin blue line that divides the police from the citizenry and refuse to make them accountable to to the legal ramification of their actions and actually put in proper prosecutions and actually arrest and will prosecute police who commit these crimes, nothing will ever get done.
Also, it's pretty hard to breed support in the police whenever your police are dirty or when some shit like that goes on.
Yeah, or even just de-escalation tactics, as we've talked about, with that police officer who was fired for attempting to de-escalate a situation of a person who was attempting to commit suicide by cop. And he almost had it.
Yeah, he was successfully de-escalated until,
until two cops came on scene. Guy. Yeah, and they immediately pulled out the guns and shot the guy.
Yeah.
So, and then he was fired because of that.
Right.
So, you reward the people who do a good job by firing them, and you keep these corrupt people around you. You tacitly endorse them. You give them the authority, the power, the funds to do the dirty work that you're allowing them to do. And then you're wondering why people don't trust you. Why people actively work against you. Why you say it's us versus them. No, you were the ones who built this barrier between the community and yourselves. Don't try and pin this all on the community. It's your fault. For some of it.
Some of it in some places are your fault. Some places there are communities that are bad. That's just the truth of the matter.
But I mean, the police don't make it any better.
No, most definitely not.
Again, police serve a function, but only if they are properly trained and, are responsible to the law.
The police's function is to protect and serve the people.
Yes. They seem to have forgotten that in recent decades.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, mini rant over.
Mini rant over. Wow.
Although the indicted officers committed many robberies individually before joining the gun trace task force. Great, so these people just have a history of doing this.
Yeah, it's literally Den of Thieves.
Yep.
I consider everybody to watch that movie.
Didn't we watch that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Prosecutors charged that they grew bolder and more prolific after Jenkins took over the unit in June of 2016.
After somebody with a pair of balls to lead them to victory, basically.
Judge Blake ultimately decided to sentence him to 25 years, saying she was taking into consideration to the fact that he pled guilty and cooperated to some extent with the prosecutors. So he turned coat and fucking dropped on the other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Detective Marcus Taylor on Thursday was sentenced to 18 years in prison on racketeering charges, including robbery and overtime fraud. And this just keeps getting better because Baltimore just keeps getting more corrupt. And in January, Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh fired her police commissioner and replaced him with the former deputy commissioner Gerald D'Souza, who promised sweeping reforms to the department. And then Mr. D'Souza last month was indicted for a failure to pay his taxes by the same prosecutors who brought the GTTF case forward. He resigned from the top spot at Baltimore Police Department. He resigned, and the top spot remains vacant. The FBI investigation continues. The FBI is going to uncover so much shit. They're pretty much going to decimate the ranks of fucking Baltimore's police departments. Rightfully so. And I look forward to reporting on every case that comes out of there. Anyways. On to the next story.
Yep. Arizona crops. Wow. Arizona cops surround pummel man in gut-wrenching footage. And here's the video. 4 officers were sidelined Tuesday as brutal surveillance footage emerged showing cops encircling man and beating him without relent in an Arizona apartment. I think I actually just saw this recently on Facebook today or something. Let me see. This isn't the one. Can I enhance this? Okay.
There's been a couple of them.
There's a fucking 20-minute video. Oh my god,
it's on the first. Oh, it does have sound. We need to turn. You're just gonna jump forward to, let's see. It's the 2-minute mark. Yeah, jump forward to 2 minutes.
Alright, so there we're at 158, and I'm gonna go ahead and start this. Yeah. Alright.
So, you should be seeing the elevator doors opening.
Yeah, well, not yet. I haven't swapped over. 1 second, no. I have to make sure.
Well, let me know when you start.
I gotta make sure the thingy is in the right browser window, because, fucking... Yep, did the thing where, I have to go select it again. Anyway, fading to black. There we go. We're in the
right when
you
started.
Alrighty, look at this tiny video. We're going to enhance, and starting now.
Okay.
Some dude just was.
So you see, guys there on the phone, there's already a cop there in the bottom right corner.
Yeah, I see that.
They told the guy to sit down, and that guy's just ignoring him on the phone. But they're together, and you see, so now the elevator door's opening, and you see the cop just handle that guy. Look at that. You know nothing good ever happens when a cop immediately surrounds you like that.
When a bunch of cops.
When a bunch of cops. And then they're checking his pockets, and the guy's like, whoa, what's up?
There's 4 of us up here, we're good.
And the guy's just on his phone, just whatever, cops.
That's basically me in this kind of situation. Let's see.
Yeah, and the guy's getting off his phone. And look at all 4 of them just rush in. And look, 2 more come out the damn elevator.
God damn, they just start beating the shit out of
Yeah, they just look at that black cop. He's like, I ain't taking no shit from this guy. Just wailing on him.
God damn.
Get his arms back. I got him.
That's fucked up.
Hold on, watch this arm right here. Get his right arm. Get his right arm. Got his left. Yeah, I'm on you. Yeah, I feel it.
Was he a wanted criminal or something, or what?
No, he wasn't.
They just make the other dude checking the other dude. See, they're over there checking that guy out. The hell's he throwing out? Are those drugs or just other shit he's got?
No, he's just stuff in his pocket.
Yeah. Yeah, so they just checked him out and then they just sat back down. I don't know why the fuck they went ham on that dude like that.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit.
Okay, then jump to the 11-minute mark. That's where this thing continues, because all this time is they just got him on the ground. They're checking shit.
Put your pussy boys on the list.
Stand up, but I'm telling you right now, if you do anything stupid,
how the fuck I'm gonna do any goddamn thing stupid, huh? How the fuck I'm gonna do anything stupid, huh?
Stand up.
Smart.
Stand up.
Smart. Then help me up.
What do you think I'm
And then they slam his face against the elevator door.
Oh. Yeah, how pretty are you, huh? How pretty are you?
Don't start that. Don't you dare try to. You're trying to spit on me. Hey, get a spit mask for this right now.
God damn, all these cops showed up.
We got him in the car.
I mean, in this scene, I'm counting 7 cops.
Spit mask for what?
Yeah. So
Put him on the ground. Spit mask for what? What do I need a spit mask for, huh?
You're gonna try and spit on me? Hold on. Put him on the ground. Take him back down.
Huh?
Take him back down.
You want to
Sit on the ground. I'll go get one. Now go get a spit mask. Don't you dare ever try to spit on me again.
Anyways. Yeah, but that's what people are outraged about, because this is just police brutality.
Well, the last part, if the kid was actually trying to spit on him, that's fair. But the
Well,
beginning part, The beginning part was definitely not okay. Like, you go sit down, and then they just start beating the shit out of him and make him sit down. It's actually, I believe it's your choice. You don't actually have to sit if they tell you to sit. I don't think you have to actually listen to them unless you are under arrest.
Yeah, which I mean, it wasn't.
No, well, he is now as soon as they put the cuffs on
Yeah,
him.
of course.
But yeah,
Resisting arrest and all those charges. Anyway.
well, yeah, now they say it's probably resisting arrest, but I mean... Like,
resisting... See, I love how that can be the only charge you get, but they don't charge you with anything else. That doesn't make any sense. I don't get how that's legal.
That shouldn't be possible either, because, like... Oh, we have no other way to charge you, but we're charging you with a resisting arrest. Resisting arrest for what? What did you try to arrest me for in the first place, dumb shits?
And we're arresting you to resisting arrest. Duh.
Pretty much. Alright.
That's all it is.
Yep.
And anyways, I kicked the guy in the corner was...
Dude was just chilling.
Anyways. So on to the story now that we have the video.
Mace Police Chief Raymond Batista. Is that Batista Bomb right there? Fucking WWE Batista. I have to laugh at that.
Yeah.
You know, fucking what's his name? Drax. Anyway, struggling to explain the startling show of force, promised to follow through with an ongoing probe into the attack. Why does everybody go with probe now? Such an unsavory word. Should just say investigation.
Probe as opposed to what?
Investigation.
Yes. Fine.
Probe sounds dirty. Anyway, so yeah, he said the cops are currently on paid leave. He said that's a fuck ton. That's like half of their force on paid leave. That was fucking 9-10 people I saw. I counted 9.
Yeah.
Stand there. The video begins with a man who cops say was a friend of a domestic violence suspect. So what? Checking his cell phone as he stands next to an elevator bank in a Mesa apartment building. Police say they instructed him to sit down, and he refused to comply, which is fine. But the newly released clip shows officers almost immediately surrounding the man before uncorking a flurry of closed fists to his face and knees to his midsection. I also want to point out the black guy did this. Black guy fucking lined up the shot and just fucking struck him as hard as possible. Like, I saw that. I saw him do that. Like, and I'm like, God,
like a couple times, right to the jaw.
Yep. More officers then emerge from the elevator and join the melee, the footage shows. See, that sucks for the dudes coming up, because, like, in their defense, they just saw the police going ham. They don't know what happens. They just join in automatically. To be fair, for those guys. But the first couple dudes who just went ham.
The first 5 people who show up.
It was 4. The first 4. It was 4 dudes that just fucking rolled up and started going ham. But yeah. Batista said a civilian brought the alarming video to his attention. The department ultimately made it public Tuesday alongside its announcement of the officer's suspensions. That's
I love
good
how
on
they
them.
brought to the guy's attention. Just like, if somebody didn't bring it forward, he wouldn't do anything, of course. But because somebody saw that this happened, we now obviously have to pay attention to it. You know, because if nobody said shit about this, if this video didn't exist, these cops wouldn't have, nothing would have happened to these cops.
Yep.
It would have been just the cops' words versus this guy's.
Well, like, and you know, it's good that the apartment complex had a video surveillance, because I'm not used to apartment complexes having that. But it's always like near entrances and stuff, kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's fucked. It's kind of like, so I explained the other day about the cop that came up and was like semi-blatantly racist. But to be fair, there was no other way to really put that. He's like, there's a little white girl in Wittenhouse, all these families. He just starts pointing out neighbors. They're black, they're Indian, they're black, you know.
It's not really racist, because,
no,
I mean, if you don't have another way to describe a person.
Yeah, I know. I just found it funny. But other people would find it racist. But I'm just like, I understand the situation. Like, the kid's white, and so, you know, you kind of expect it to be in a white family. For the most part. I mean,
For the most part, unless people adopt, of course.
Yeah, unless they adopt or, you know, something, however, whatever. Somebody's taking care of a kid. Stuff like that. I'm not sure if they found the kid's family. But, like, my whole thing that told him was, like, I'd have to see the little girl and see if I recollect seeing her with anybody. Because, like, I don't get out. Oh, I just tapped my camera. It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm still just a small head down here because the seat's so low. I might go buy like $100 fucking chair from Fry's again and build it just so I can have a rolly chair in here. I don't know. Or go to IKEA and get some uncomfortable fucking piece of, was it Swiss? Swedish?
Yeah. No, Swedish.
Yeah. Swedish furniture. Anyway. Carry on.
Alright, so the video shows police hitting homeless men as he says, "I'm not resisting." And we'll roll the video and I'll caption over it.
Okay. Switch to this. Start the video.
So, an Oregon police deputy captured on video repeatedly hitting a homeless man during an arrest Monday has been... God, I'm trying to sneeze and it's very annoying that I'm not actually sneezing. Has been temporarily reassigned during the investigation into the incident, police say Tuesday.
I am not resisting! I am not! Stop!
God damn, that one cop.
Stop!
You seen that video?
Help! Help! Ow! Help! Stop! Stop!
Get your hands behind your back. Behind your
Stop!
back. You're gonna get tased.
I'm trying! I'm disabled! I'm
Get your
disabled!
hands behind your
It
back.
hurts! It hurts!
Yeah, so footage captured showed 4 Marion County Sheriff's deputies confronting Kevin Straw, 28. Police were taking him into custody for disrupting a search and rescue mission in Detroit. In the video, the deputies can be seen forcing Straw to the ground. A deputy appears to be punching Straw in the back of the head more than 20 times. Marion County Sheriff officials contend that Straw was resisting arrest. Was resisting arrest and had a knife in his possession. They said an outside law enforcement agency will be reviewing the incident. Officials with the ACLU, Oregon, called the deputy's actions unjustified and violent. ACLU Oregon Executive Director David Rogers called for an investigation into the incident. Repeatedly punching somebody who is apprehended to the ground by 4 police officers is a clear example of excessive use of force, period, he said, adding that the behavior degrades community trust in law enforcement. The Saturday before his arrest, witnesses reported seeing Straw yell at passerbys about cougars and military special forces. A mental health mobile crisis response team responded, but Straw refused their help. The sheriff's office addressed the incident in a written statement Tuesday evening, saying it continues to gather all relevant facts and information about the arrest and will be reviewing the use of force applied in accordance with official policy.
I mean, so what? The guy had a knife. It was a pretty big knife, but it looked like a multi-use knife.
And it wasn't out, as far as I could tell. Because I might have just gotten it from his bag. He has a knife on him in his bag.
Yeah.
But apparently, this person actually does have mental health issues.
Yeah.
But the police should know how to respond effectively to that.
Well, I mean, if anything, if they're really super worried about something, all they have to do is tase the guy. The tasers are for. Just tase him and fucking let him seize out on the ground and be done with it. You're actually not supposed to use tasers either. Well, I don't know. I feel like a taser to the neck would have been a better use of force than fucking repeatedly punching the dude in the face instead.
Well, cops just seem to enjoy punching people.
I noticed. I'm violent and have violent tendencies, but I still don't want to go be a cop just to hurt people. I'll hurt people on my own time, eventually. Anyway.
Anyways, so, yep. Continuing on.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Bushwhacked. Deputy hurls bush bean cans to subdue suspect. I'm gonna roll this video. That's funny. Oh man, this fucking video quality is the worst.
It's terrible, yeah.
This is most security cameras everywhere.
Yeah, and there's also no audio.
Yep.
So you see the cops walking up. And I don't like does this guy look like a cop? I mean, I guess like a white shirt cop, but it's hard to tell, really.
Yeah, which dude? Oh, the dude in the white shirt. He looks like a
Yeah, with the white hair.
He looks like a generic something like that. I guess.
And then he grabs the cans and just starts hurling them at
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
the suspect. Very weird.
Yep.
Anyways.
Panama City News reports that Bay County Sheriff's deputy threw 2 cans of beans and helped subdue a man threatening people with a hammer inside a grocery store. Shelford said the cans of Bush's extra brown sugar baked beans were an
I love how they
alternative
had
to
to
using
point that
deadly
out.
force. Yeah, right?
They're the extra brown sugar, not just regular.
Initial reports Thursday said the suspect had a gun. It turned out to be a hammer, but he allegedly attacked 3 officers with it. A video obtained by a newspaper shows Sanford hurling the cans at the suspect, who was arrested. Authorities say 25-year-old Justin Tyler Sanford is charged with assault with a deadly weapon on an officer and other offenses. Court records didn't indicate Sunday if Sanford had a lawyer. Back to you.
Yep. So, this is just,
No.
this one's a clear example, not this story, but this story I'm going to...
No, I said I was talking high kick.
Yeah. Is there a regular can I missed it? Possibly, I guess. It doesn't have that brown sugar, so...
I actually like... Is it Bush's? Yeah, it's Bush's baked beans that I like. Yep. They're my favorite kind of beans to eat.
Anyways, so a police officer fired for hitting a fleeing suspect with his car was hired just days later by a neighboring county. This actually surprisingly happens quite a lot, where a cop will do something bad and get fired for it, and a local police agency will then just hire them on. They're like, oh yeah, you did that thing over there, but fuck it, we'll take you. Doesn't matter to us. We don't like these people we protect anyways.
I don't think it's as much as that. It's like, that county might think it was an effective use of force.
I suppose. Still, I mean, I wouldn't want in my local police department to have somebody who was fired from another police department from using excessive force. I wouldn't want them on my police department. Both as if I was running a police department and actually as a citizen.
First of all, you're never going to run a police department. Second of all, you're one of many. Third of all, have you seen the people? They elected Trump. And as far as a lot of people are concerned, at this point, unless it's an extremely liberal city, more force is better. He did his job.
That's what they seem to think.
That's that exactly. That is exactly what they think.
Anyways, so the Georgia police officer who was fired for hitting a fleeing suspect with his car on Saturday was out of work for just 2 days. Damn, they didn't even wait. It's like,
I wonder
you get 2 days vacation.
I wonder if he already had the job with them though lined up.
Probably not.
No, I don't know. 2 days is pretty quick to be hired on, man.
Unless they're desperate for officers.
Yeah, but still,
Anyway,
I
so
have never even
Taylor's-
had to turn around that fast for jobs.
Well, I guess police are a bit different because with police you have to get trainees and they go through the police academy and training and all that jazz. But if you already have a police, already trained, so it's a lot easier to get them in. Yep. So Taylor Salters, who was fired by the Athens-Clarke County Police Department on Saturday, was for running down a suspect with his car. Was hired by the neighboring Oglethorpe County Sheriff's Office on Monday.
It's Oglethorpe.
Oglethorpe.
I think so.
Whatever. Oglethorpe County Sheriff David Gabriel announced the news on Facebook, saying, "I've known him since he was a baby, and I know he will be a great asset to our county."
Oh, because it's somebody that knew him then. That's why.
Yeah, that's why.
Nepotism. Actually,
Yep.
nepotism isn't just somebody you know. It doesn't have to be family to be nepotism.
Yeah. If his name sounds familiar, it's probably due to the fact that he was recently terminated. And this is continuing with the Facebook. He was recently terminated by the ACCPD for an incident where a fleeing felon struck his police. I love how he's worded it. Where a fleeing felon struck his police car while he was attempting to apprehend him. No. We've seen that video because I think we covered this case, like 2 weeks ago. That guy drove his car into the suspect. It's not like the guy just, let me go run at this police car who's coming at me. No. That cop drove into that guy.
Let me just basically.
Let's see. In talking to Salters, the first question I asked him was if our citizens supported law enforcement. Without hesitation, the question he asked was if the citizens supported law enforcement. Without hesitation, I assured him they did, and that we have excellent people that live in our county. And I have no reservations about Deputy Salters serving this community. I love how that's the first question he asked. Do the people support the police?
Well, yeah, because they just ran them over, so, like, he just had a bad taste. I'm telling you, man, it's like, yo, he just ran that kid over, but it's totally okay. He's a good policeman, man.
Well, clearly the people in this county didn't support him. That's why he's going to this other county.
Well, yeah, because he ran over some dude, or whatever,
yes.
However.
And nobody wants cops running over people.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Unless they're in this Oglethorpe County.
Oh, dude, you ran over a bad guy? Badass.
Patman was then taken into custody by the two officers as bystanders assembled to shout at the two members of law enforcement for hitting. Athens Police Chief Scott Freeman placed Salters on administrative leave before firing him Saturday after reviewing the body cam.
There's body cam footage of him getting in the car when they sent it over? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So anyways, on to our next story, which is a video.
That road video.
A controversy is brewing in Bonham County following Deputy Sheriff Mark Maggs win the primary election for sheriff last night.
Yeah, minutes after announcing the winner, Sheriff Lenny Gramco gave a letter to Maggs stating that his position of deputy sheriff had been terminated effective immediately.
KSFR News reporter Jill Langland is in Tyndall with reaction tonight from the community.
Hold on, this is Sioux Falls. Is this fucking South Dakota?
Our 6 o'clock top story.
Nice.
Community members in this small county seat are confused as to why Deputy Sheriff Mark Maggs was fired yesterday right after the sheriff primary, and they are now looking for answers.
Personally,
I mean, what an asshole, this sheriff. Be like, ha, you just took my job? Well, fuck you, I'm gonna fire you.
Well, no. So the dude got voted in for deputy and not as the sheriff.
No. The deputy sheriff won the election to become the sheriff.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, the sheriff was, of course, already the sheriff.
Well, so how does this work? Wouldn't he still get the sheriff's position because he was voted in by the community? So
yeah,
he's fired as a deputy as of today, but now he's the sheriff anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
No, it doesn't. But I mean, it's more like, it's basically a fuck you to the guy who just got elected. Because one would hope with your elected officials there'd be a smooth transition of power, and everybody would be civil about it. But clearly, this cop is not.
Viral. It says, "quote This letter is to inform you that effective immediately, you are terminated from the position of deputy sheriff."
I don't think that should have fired him, and for what? What did he actually fire him for? That's, to me, is right there. It's kind of funny because you don't fire a person.
It's like, and does the current sheriff just become like a deputy sheriff?
No, I think they
alarming.
I'm sorry, the situation.
Because deputies are appointed by the sheriff, I believe. Sheriff gets appointed.
So I suppose the sheriff could appoint the former sheriff as a deputy.
Yeah,
but
he's definitely not anymore. Unless they're fucking around and like we're playing around with each other. I don't know.
No, but I mean, with a letter like this.
I don't know, Kenneth. I think if you were getting voted and I was already sheriff, I'd say you're fired.
And I'd say, go fuck yourself. You're not going to work in my department anymore.
And I would probably have already been okay with that. Man, you'd be that angry over that? It's like, dude, you're already getting sheriff. Who cares?
Well, it's the principle of the matter.
What principle is there? Who cares? You have deputy.
It matters.
Small
You're not being civil. You're not being
happen,
professional.
If I'm fucking with you, I'm gonna do whatever I want,
Currently,
boy.
it is unclear why Meigs
Yeah,
was
well,
fired
fuck
from
you,
his
then you're not
position.
working in my damn
Community
office.
members I spoke
Well, I
to
wasn't
say
gonna
that
work
they
in your
believe
shitty
it was a
office. Why would I wanna
reaction to
work under
losing
you
the
anyway?
primary election
Get
and
the
are
fuck
upset with how things were handled.
I think it was just didn't want to admit defeat, and that was the last stab he could take at him.
Meigs is unable to speak with us today, but plans on speaking with us tomorrow right after the county commission meeting. In Tyndall, Jill Langland, KSFY News.
And we
Kasifi, I just have to laugh about her glasses. Like the amount of millennial in this picture. It's just so.
Yeah.
Ow, my eyeballs. Alright. So, cop thought it was drugs. It was a teen coping with autism. 14-year-old Connor Libble, I guess, just felt overwhelmed. He was sitting in a sunny and quiet neighborhood park in suburban Phoenix. Nobody fucking goes outside of Phoenix. I saw a meme. I saw a meme of fucking the King of the Hill episode where they went to Phoenix. I was like, oh god, this is the worst. Who lives in Phoenix? What humans can even go here? It was like, is this the apex of human fucking like stupidity or something like that? And I was like, oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, so yeah. While his caretaker visited a nearby store. To calm himself, Libble, who was autistic, started stimming with a piece of string, an exercise commonly taught to people with autism to help them cope with stressful environments. But that's not what it looked like to Officer David Grossman. Grossman, who the Buckeye Police Department has called a drug recognition expert, said he thought Libble was bringing his hands towards his mouth to somehow inhale drugs. After driving by multiple times, Grossman stopped to ask Libble what he was doing. I'm stimming, Libble replied. Taking a few jerking steps back, footage of the July 19, 2017 incident captured by Grossman's body cam shows Grossman apparently didn't know what that meant. He told Libble to stop walking away, while Libble, confused, told him it's a string. After the teen awkwardly told the officer he didn't have identification on him, Grossman grabbed his arm and tried to restrain him. In a blur of fast movements that are difficult to distinguish in the footage, the pair hit a tree and fell to the ground. That's funny. The camera captured just Grossman struggling to pin down the teen, while Libble, his breaking voice rising in increasing panic, repeatedly screamed, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay. As the policeman on top of him yells to stop moving and relax. Moments later, when Diane Craig, Libble's caretaker, arrived at the scene, she told the officer the boy was autistic, and she looked on in horror. His voice tremblingly asked her, am I going to be okay? I mean, it's also a kid, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, look, I mean, the cop just fucking was an idiot and clearly didn't recognize. I mean, who the fuck? Oh, you're playing with a goddamn piece of string.
Well,
you're doing drugs, goddammit, kids. You're playing with strings. You're doing drugs.
To be fair, for the police officer in this one, people do weird shit when they're on drugs like that. Just saying. So it is possible. So it is whatever it is, you know. But if the dude like beat the shit out of the kid or something, it doesn't sound like it in the story. He didn't beat the shit out of the kid. He was just trying to subdue the kid. And I'm assuming everything's going to be kind of hunky dory after this. Like, oh, I didn't know he was.
Well, the family's suing the police department because apparently, as a part of his autism, is that it makes him not be able to distinguish when events happened, or when traumatic events happened, I should say. So basically, like, he's constantly reliving this. And apparently, the parents said that it makes him unable to trust adult men anymore.
I mean, I guess it's possible it's like a form of PTSD type thing.
And also, because apparently, I didn't know this, but I learned this when reading the story, is that apparently when people suffer from disabilities, the ADA actually comes into play here. And basically, if the police know somebody has a disability, then they have to take very specific courses of action, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They have to limit the amount of force they use.
But the problem is with you know, autism, you know, the whole joke autism doesn't speak or whatever, autism speaks in, you know, on whatever ways. Autism is hard to tell. Like, the autism scale at this point, everybody has some sort of mild case of autism, almost realistically. But so that's kind of hard. Also, again, you see somebody who's wigging out, fucking playing with a string. Think of like people. Okay, get a video of raves and just watch people doing shit with their hands on raves. That's people on drugs. It's probably looks similar. I don't know what the kid was doing this side with the fucking string, but it may have been similar, something similar to that.
I don't know. It's some sort of, I don't know what it is. Something about tapping a string against your hand or something supposed to calm you down. I don't know. Apparently, this stimming thing is a popular thing done to.
I mean, I know there's fidget spinners, and there's all sorts of other ways that kids, with autism do things, move and whatnot. It's just a big deal.
Is there something brushing up against your mic?
No.
Nothing
at all.
Anyways.
The mic meter's not going off.
So on to world news.
There's just the ghost stick. I don't know.
Which, Trump. Again, this is all about Trump because, of course it is.
As I said, do we have the thing where he had his patriotism party and somebody kneeled and it's now viral?
We do not. But anyway, you're going to need to change the topic.
At some point I'll decide to give a shit.
So, battered by Trump on trade in Iran, the G7 leaders to meet. Leaders of the group of 7 richest nations head for a summit in Canada on Thursday, more divided than at any time in the group's 42-year history, as U.S. President Donald Trump's America First policies risk causing a global trade war and deep diplomatic schisms. For those who don't know, the G7 includes countries like, of course, the United States, Canada, Japan, Germany, France, the UK, and one other nation missing. Canada, of course. Oh, Mexico, probably as well.
Canadian.
Yep. So in a bid to rebuild America's industry, Trump has imposed heavy tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, including those from key G7 allies like Canada, Japan, and the European Union. Trump has threatened to use national security laws to do the same for car imports and has walked back on environmental agreements and international deals to prevent Iran from building a nuclear bomb, basically in key defiance of the G7, or rather G6. French President Emmanuel Macron has invested in a warm personal relationship with Trump, said the other G7 nations, like Britain, Canada, Germany, Italy, not Mexico, and Japan.
I was going to say, it can't be Mexico.
As well as France, should remain polite and productive, but warned that no leader is forever. A sign that Europe will not surrender meekly to the US president. Oh, good on them.
Right.
I love how basically Macron is just like, fuck you, Trump, we can wait out your bullshit and get somebody who will actually work with us. Maybe the American president doesn't care about being isolated today, but we don't mind being 6 if need be, Macron told reporters, because these 6 represent values, represent an economic market, and more than anything, represent a real force at the international level today. Ooh, damn. Macron's just hard-hitting.
That was pretty fire there. I'll give you that.
Trump fired back. I love that. Trump fired back soon on Twitter, addressing both leaders directly, saying they were charging massive tariffs on U.S. goods and had erected other trade barriers.
I feel like you're thinking. I feel like you're wrong here. I feel like that's us.
Yeah. God, I can't wait to see what these nations do if they do just become the G6. Just cut out America. You know. It's going to be bad for trade, and America's economy will suffer, but...
And also America's going to be like, what?
Yeah. But America has brought this upon themselves.
Well, not we.
Well, not
Trump,
we,
man.
but our president,
Mhm.
for which half of the nation, 49% elected. Anyways, so on to the next one. And while you're reading this, I'm going to go get some water.
Some agua.
Aqua.
Ah, yes. So, Trump and Trudeau tensions over trade tariff at G7 meeting in Canada. After an intense week of public back and forth, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and U.S. President Donald Trump are set to meet face-to-face in Canada on Friday. Trump is scheduled to head to Charlevoix. To Charlevoix or Charlevoix. That's V-O-I-X. I'm going to go for Quebec for the 2-day G7 meeting to sit down with the leaders of the U.S.'s closest allies. But a report says the U.S. president is not pleased about the visit. Probably not, because they're not complying with his heavy-handed regulations. The Washington Post reported that Trump has privately discussed sending Vice President Mike Pence instead. One of the largest reasons for Trump's reluctance is the host country, the report said. Over the past week, Trudeau has been especially critical of Trump's decision to impose tariffs on imports of Canadian steel and aluminum. The Canadian Prime Minister has called the move totally unacceptable and insulting during various media appearances. In private, the trade battle has strained a once cheery relationship between the two leaders. Trump reportedly joked on a call with Trudeau that the tariffs which the U.S. imposed under a national security justification were necessary because Canada burned down the White House during the War of 1812. Other reasons for Trump's reluctance to head to Canada, per the Post, include his poor relationship with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and UK Prime Minister Theresa May, a distaste for the dressing down he's likely to receive from foreign leaders on trade, and a desire to focus on a summit with North Korea set for next week, which isn't happening. Aides are concerned that Trump may not agree to the joint summit typically put out by the participating countries at the end of the summit, according to the Post. So there we go. And now is where we shall sit in semi-awkward silence, as Kenneth takes 5 years to get back. Old boy said he was just going to go get a drink, and, oh, there he is. He's back. That didn't actually take too long.
Okay, I'm back. There we go.
Welcome
You
back,
there?
buddy.
Okay. I have my water.
Now I'm going to go piss.
Refreshing. Anyways, back to where we were. Right. So he's covered that. It's on to this. After saying it shot a medic by accident, the IDF claims she was no angel. A top IDF general and spokesperson on Thursday said the Palestinian medic shot dead during clashes along the Gaza border last week was no angel of mercy, as the army released a video purportedly showing the woman lobbing a smoke grenade towards Israeli forces. Razan al-Najjar was no angel of mercy. Hamas propaganda is not the angel of mercy Hamas propaganda is making her out to be, said an IDF spokesman. Avche Adre tweeted, the video was released 2 days after the army said an internal review had determined Najjar was not intentionally targeted by snipers, following international outcry over her death. The video and Audrey's comment. Okay. The video and Audrey's comment said she was no angel of mercy seemed designed to raise. What? Okay.
What? Just making fun of Kenneth because they can.
Anyways.
Crippling alcoholism.
What else is new?
Right.
Yep. So, again, as I continue this paragraph for the third time, the video in Audrey's comments that she was no angel of mercy seemed designed to raise doubts about the volunteer medic's innocence during the clashes, though the army did not indicate that it considered Najir to be a legitimate target, raising questions among some commentators about its overall intentions with the campaign. In one part of the clip, Najir is seen giving an interview to an Arabic news outlet, saying that she wanted to serve as a human shield for protest. And here's a quote. I'm from Najir. I'm here on the line, being a protective human shield, saving the injured, says Najir in the interview. The IDF clip cut her statement after human shield, basically attempting to be like, no, this woman says herself she's the human shield to protect protesters, and not the innocent people, or not the injured people.
I mean, I don't know. Protecting protesters is okay. Also, throwing a smoke grenade, so this is column A, column B there. Throwing a smoke grenade to keep them from killing everybody is okay, and throwing a smoke grenade and letting the other people shoot them, that's kind of like what they would probably be trying to push. Cat, what the fuck are you doing?
I'll get to that. So another part of the clip shows a Palestinian...
What my cat's doing?
No, the smoke grenade.
Oh, the smoke grenade.
Yep. It shows a Palestinian woman who the military claimed was Najir, hurling a smoke canister. The army said the smoke canister was thrown towards Israeli forces. And here's a quote. By her own admission, she was a human shield for rioters and saboteurs, demonstrating how Hamas exploits all of Gazan society for its purposes as well as Iran, says the IDF general. Do medics in other countries throw bombs and participate in riots and refer to themselves as human shields? In another video, they show, because the IDF is cutting these clips to show what they want to show.
Yeah, they're cherry picking, plain and simple.
But in the full video of the Palestinian woman, it shows her throwing the smoke grenade into an open field. Not at freaking, soldiers or anything. No, it's just an empty open field. Not even very far into the open field, like 15 feet, maybe. Pretty much. So
usually that's used as a signal of some sort, though. So, like calling down choppers or something. Kind of random.
Yeah, well, I think the IDF is the IDF is using tear gas and smoke grenades to disperse people.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Palestinians and human rights group have accused the Israeli military of using excessive force against protesters during the weeks of Hamas-led protests along the Israeli border. Najir's death sharpened the criticism, with UN officials saying that witness reports indicated she wore clothing that clearly identified her as a health worker. The Palestinian Medical Relief Society and eyewitnesses at the scene said Najir was less than 100 meters from the border fence treating a man who had been struck by a tear gas canister when she was shot. This continues the demands for a UN investigation into these protests and, of course, the brutality inflicted by the IDF. Now, to give a more balanced perspective, these protests are led by Hamas, which Hamas is classified as a terrorist organization under the United States government, and also disagrees with the Palestinian Authority. And they've also been pretty much running Gaza Strip for years now. They're not the good people in this fight. But neither is the IDF.
I was going to say, nobody's the good people in this fight.
I mean, considering the IDF, this is now the probably third or fourth medical worker the IDF has shot and second that they've killed. Again, these people have been clearly identified, labeled, wearing clothing that, marks them as health workers. And the IDF continues to gun them down. Obviously, in an attempt to make sure that no other health worker goes out there Same for any journalists or anybody who would honestly report on the ongoings of these protests.
As I say, it's like basics of war, kill all the people that, cause you problems basically by existing. Oh, hey, that person's, trying to help people out. No.
Yes,
even though it's really
that
fucked up.
war.
And I believe that's supposed to be against the Geneva Convention.
Probably so.
I mean, everything's against the Geneva fucking Convention, though.
Quite a lot of things are, but that's generally because they're trying to make war.
Literally,
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to sneeze on bullets and shoot them or something like that.
That's considered biological warfare.
Yeah, exactly. I know, it's just kind of funny.
Which, I mean, I suppose it makes sense. I mean, you got somebody who has a deadly disease, or AIDS or HIV or something, and you have just dip the bullets in their blood or something. And
first of all,
that's
what are you gonna
definitely
do?
biological.
Fucking ritual slicing? Just has to be just. Oh yeah, fucking kill.
I'm just giving an example.
I know, but it's.
But I mean, I would definitely consider that biological warfare.
I consider that hilarious, and I think it's fine and okay.
Until you get shot by an AIDS bullet or something.
I mean, I'm not. First of all, I'm not going to get shot. Second of all, definitely not by an AIDS bullet. That just sounds funny. I've been shot. Oh no, I have the AIDS. That's pretty funny. Anyway, carry on.
Anyway, so.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, that's it. It's over.
Oh, nice. High Court back NHS decision to stop funding homeopathy. Oh, nice. The decision to stop NHS funding for homeopathy has been upheld by a High Court judge. The British Homeopathic Association, BHA, brought a legal challenge against NHS England's decision made in November last year to stop paying the £92,000 annual cost of homeopathic remedies. NHS England issued guidance in November last year that GPs should not prescribe homeopathic treatments as a new treatment for any patient. The guidance also states GPs should be supported in deprescribing such remedies for all patients who are receiving them at the time. The body issued the guidance as part of a drive to save £141 million a year.
Look at that. I mean, $141 million being wasted on these treatments.
By no longer prescribing 18 treatments deemed to be of low clinical effectiveness, including homeopathy and herbal treatments. The BHA, a charity which aims to ensure patients have access to homeopathy, argued NHS England's consultation on the guidance was unfair. That English there.
So for folks who don't know what homeopathy is, or what homeopathics are, I'll give you a quick rundown. So basically, homeopathics is a principle of less is more, in an absurd degree. So like homeopathy would be like, say take it like an aspirin pill, for example. So they take an aspirin pill, they put it in a cup of water. Okay, so that's 1p, for instance. I'll just give it a unit. And then they take a droplet of that, like 1 milliliter of that. They put that into 100 milliliters. That's 2p. They do that same thing, 3p, 4p. They keep doing it little drops into 100 milliliter things until it hits like 1,000p. So that's, 1,000th of that, the entire line diluted down. And that is barely powerful. It's not till you hit like 10,000 they consider it powerful. Basically, their measurements are ridiculous. And they think it's effective. They think, oh, you take a 10,000p, aspirin, homeopathic aspirin, well, it's super effective. Because they don't know how anything works.
What is this, Pokemon? It's super effective.
Pretty much.
Anyway.
And that's obviously, for anybody who knows anything about medicine...
Lawyers for the charity argued there was plain evidence homeopathic treatment does work in particular cases. Apparently.
Of course they would argue that.
Yeah.
They have a business to protect.
Yep, BHA said it will continue to champion the health benefits of homeopathy and the right of patients to choose it. Mr. Stevens said there is no robust evidence to support homeopathy, which is at best a placebo and a misuse of scarce NHS funds. So we strongly welcome the High Court's clear-cut decision to kick out this costly and spurious legal challenge.
Rightfully so.
Yes. Sure.
So here's a short story on Bermuda. So Bermuda to reverse same-sex marriage ruling after being the first country to take it away. Bermuda leading the charge.
Didn't we cover this? This is technically an update.
Yes, it's an update to a story we covered on Bermuda months ago.
Mm-hmm.
So Bermuda is poised yet again to permit same-sex marriages after a high court reversed a ban on the unions. Earlier this year, the British territory made an unprecedented decision to repeal the rights of gay couples to marry, making it the first nation to extend and then revoke that right. So good on you, Bermuda, leading the charge of taking away people's civil rights.
We give it to you, we take it. The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
Pretty much. So Governor John Rankin signed a measure banning same-sex marriage after a referendum found a majority of Bermudans opposed them, seeking to override a Supreme Court decision allowing same-sex unions. Well, the Supreme Court obviously has greater power than the people. That's kind of like their job. Yeah, generally, a referendum isn't... Well, referendums themselves generally aren't legally binding. It's generally just to get better polls. But it is up to the Supreme Court to generally decide law.
Yes.
And what is constitutional. So,
that's
the Supreme Court...
It's the most Supreme Court. That's the point.
So the Supreme Court, yes, outranks a referendum. So gay Bermudans sued, saying Parliament lacked the power to reverse the High Court.
Crucifix donated
Chief Justice
$1,
Ian...
saying, yay, Bermuda. Thank you, Crucifix, for the donation.
Yep, thanks, Crucifix. The ruling...
Give me all of your change. You know what? Here, I'll drink to that.
Sure. Drinking to the donations.
Cancer drinking water. It's irrelevant. Oh, we gotta see if we can get all the people that don't come to the Texas meetup to get us really wasted. Yo, Kenneth, I know what you can do for some of the extra money. Buy like a GoPro and a couple batteries so we can IRL stream the whole thing.
I mean, I could just use my cell phone.
Yeah, but won't that die? That'll die. Plus a GoPro. A GoPro is external. You can keep your cell phone and like run it off your cell phone, but the GoPro is a different camera that's dedicated. Also, it has a better camera probably than your phone camera. Your phone camera is really good, but I mean, it's a GoPro that we can fucking attach to a mount and stick it somewhere. And you can still use your phone. Instead of trying to place your phone in some awkward shit like we were doing last time. We can literally just run around with a tripod, or one of us can have a monopod and act like an old man.
No. You know, we get one of those like spider leg things. So
I was actually so just random rant story here. I was actually going to get one of those gorilla pods. It's like the 3 legs. I was going to wrap it around my shoulder because my shoulders are nice, flat, bulky, and good enough to probably hold that weird mount on it. And I was going to go run around at the arcade with a GoPro on. I was also going to start IRL streaming me driving from fucking Dallas to Bay City when I go down. Because 6-hour drive, I'm bored, and people like driving shows. And they're going to love it whenever I go 100-something passing people. I just hope that there's no law implications there. The cop punches my stream. Sir, you're breaking law, sir.
Sir, this is being live streamed right now, officer.
Right? Shit.
So the Chief Justice Ian Qualley sided with him, writing in his decision that the Parliament cannot impose the religious preferences of any one group on a society as a whole. The ruling does not take effect immediately, as Bermuda's government has a 6-week window in which to decide whether to appeal. Gay rights activists reacted to the decision with joy, saying it vindicated the steady advancement of same-sex marriage legalization. Bravo, Bermuda, for fucking coming to your senses.
Right?
Not of your own will, but because the Supreme Court said, fuck you, this is the law. get over ourselves.
Fuck you, I'm Millwall, said the lawman.
Pretty much. All right. And this is some cool international news and also science news.
Even though this is world news? This is world news. UK's latest... yes. I was going to wonder if we were going to cover this because I saw this the other day too. UK's latest nuclear fusion reactor hits key 15 million Celsius milestone, which is, I believe it's hotter than the sun. Yes.
What?
A British nuclear fusion reactor has reached temperatures hotter than the center of the sun in a test that marks a key step towards limitless clean energy. The tokamak reactor hit 15 million Celsius, or 59 million Fahrenheit degrees, at a facility in Oxfordshire as a part of preparations to supply the UK grid with fusion power by 2030. So, Kenneth, my giant robot using fusion reactors is a reality. I'll have infinite power, unlimited power. Anyway.
I mean, I hate to bust your bubble.
Bust my burble?
Yes, I hate to bust your bubble. But, fusion energy
Hold
works
on, fuck you. And we're going to continue with the story. Don't bust my bubble, suck a dick.
It works like nuclear power
with fusion
steam engines.
energy, 1 tablespoon of liquid hydrogen fuel could generate as much energy as 28 tons of coal with no radioactive waste. That's actually really good. That is ultra clean. That's like...
No, it is.
That's Mr. Clean. But that's Mr. Clean stain binding power right there! No. Basically.
Yeah, it's also basically like if the reaction becomes uncontrolled, because again, you're working with temperatures that are hitting hundreds of millions degrees Celsius, it actually doesn't have enough power to sustain itself. Once it like expands out, it hits like super cooled magnets and just dies off.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no real risk of a meltdown. And there is some risk of like nuclear material leaking out, but it's of such a low level that it's actually just going to disperse without actually causing any harm.
Also, it's hydrogen, like, so...
Well, this one's using hydrogen. Others are using, like, deuterium.
Mm-hmm. Well, hydrogen's ultra-safe, is what I was going to say for this one. Like, even if it's being fused to something, hydrogen is one of the chillest molecules. It's both the most reactive and unreactive at the same time.
I think you're thinking of helium.
Hmm. Well, helium's extremely... I thought helium is reactive.
No. Hydrogen is a single proton electron.
Shit, I didn't read what fucking Crucifix said when he donated those bits. He said something about real life Mechasol.
He says, "Stop ruining our dreams of a real life Mechasol."
Nice. Yeah, see, I don't know why it didn't come up on research chat when I got that, but anyway. And he was saying some stupid shit about never meeting a Bermuda person, but they can't leave the country without dissipating the Bermuda Triangle, making a Bermuda joke. I see
Also
what
false.
you did there. Shh, it's not false. Fuck you, Kenneth. Anyway, yeah. So the latest test takes tokamak energy a step closer to its ultimate goal of heating high-energy gas to 100 million degrees centigrade, or 212 million degrees, Fahrenheit, later this year. At this temperature, 7 times hotter than the century, because it's Europe, center of the sun, the reactor will trigger nuclear fusion, a joining together of atomic nuclei that releases enormous amounts of energy. The same process powers stars. And tokamak energy, based in Milton, Oxfordshire, is working to recreate it in a device called a compact spherical tokamak. The company aims to produce industrial-scale fusion energy by 2025 before its technology is integrated into Britain's power grid. Tokamak's energy's 15 million C landmark was achieved in a prototype device dubbed ST40 that was commissioned last year. So even if the steam power thing is what you're talking about, I could still easily use that for power. It doesn't matter how I generate power. It just matters if I
It's also
generate
extremely
power.
large, and it also takes supercooling magnets to essentially as close as we can get to 0 degrees Kelvin.
And?
I mean, that takes energy to do that, but also, how would you even begin to use this thing as an energy source.
I have to
this thing
see
lasts-
the size of this reactor
This thing
because
is
the
very
size
large.
of my robot is going to be very large. Depends
It's
on how much.
probably, I'd estimate it's probably at least 40 feet in diameter.
Is it a sphere?
Probably maybe more.
Is it 40
Yeah, it's
foot
a sphere.
40 foot in
Probably
diameter
more,
sphere. Well, the giant robot's supposed to like be many times bigger than a tank. It might work out. Got scaling.
I still don't know how you would use that to get energy.
You know, I don't either. I'd have to see how it works in the first place.
Again, I mean, there's a Linus video on fusion power. Watch it.
Oh, fuck it. I don't want to watch Linus. Ow, cat. Why are you being a little shit? Stop it.
But this brings so much potential because the UK is working on it, France is working on it, some Canadians are working on it.
You know who's not working on it? America.
Yeah, but that was weird.
But what?
I don't know, just some sounds in my right ear cut. But no, that's because America's bought and owned by freaking, the oil and gas industry, so we wouldn't dare begin researching something that would give us limitless power that's incredibly clean and, takes almost nothing to do. Why would we do that?
Yep. Now you see where I come from when I was talking about the whole, them pulling back the EPA hybrid, or what is it, the 50 NPG plan.
I didn't say you were wrong.
It's sad, though.
No, it is. It is. It's not a good thing. I want it to happen. I want more fucking fuel-efficient cars. I want a car where you can go 500 miles on a single gallon of gas.
See, I want a car that I can go 500 miles per hour on a single gallon of gas.
Okay, that's not... Well, it's not possible.
That's not possible.
Bugatti. No. Like Bugatti with their Veyron, which is the fastest street-legal car in the world, is actually limited just by the damn tires themselves. Because the tires aren't rated to go fast.
Yes. Well, it's because, tire ratings only go up. Tire ratings don't even, I think, go past 200, really.
Yeah, and the Veyron can go supposedly, faster than 200, faster than 250.
Yeah.
But apparently they say once you get up to, those speeds, your tire ratings, for how long they last, starts getting rated in minutes.
Yep.
Because you're just going too damn fast.
Well, I have tire rating. The tire ratings for speed isn't for how long it lasts. I guess it is. It's just for how well it's supposed to keep grip at those speeds under normal road conditions. These for normal tires.
At least for normal tires, but these tires cost $50,000.
This thing says
per
it's
tire.
medium sweet. Oh man, this is vegan friendly, gluten free, non GMO, and 100% wind power offset for this Pacific Rim.
Wow. So.
Oh no, you don't want to know why? Washington State, Columbia Valley. No wonder why it's so millennial, vegan, whatever.
Yeah.
It tastes okay. It's not that great. Just what I'd expect from shitty Washington.
From shitty vegan wine.
Mm-hmm.
So the Supreme Court rules for Baker who wouldn't make same-sex wedding cake. So, the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday handed a victory on narrow grounds to a Colorado Christian baker who refused for religious reasons to make a wedding cake for a gay couple, stopping short of setting a major precedent allowing people to claim exemptions from anti-discrimination laws based on religious beliefs. So the justices, in a 7-2 decision, which is surprisingly high, said that the Colorado Civil Rights Commission showed an impermissible hostility towards religion when it found that Baker Jack Phillips violated the state's anti-discrimination law by rebuffing gay couple David Mullins and Charlie Craig in 2012. The state law bars businesses from refusing service based on race, sex, marital status, or sexual orientation. Justices did not issue a definitive ruling on the circumstances under which people can seek exemptions from anti-discrimination laws based on their religious views. The decision also did not address important claims raised in the case whether building a cake is an expressive act protected by the Constitution's free speech guarantee. 2 of the court's 4 liberal justices, Stephen Breyer and Elena Kagan, joined the 5 conservative justices in the ruling authored by Anthony Kennedy, who was also the author of the landmark 2015 decision legalizing gay marriage nationwide. The Commission's hostility was inconsistent with the First Amendment guarantee that our laws be applied in a manner that is neutral towards religion. Basically, during the process, the Colorado board member said that discrimination like this was also similar to discrimination like the Holocaust or other things like that, which basically the justices felt that, well, by comparing Christianity to the Holocaust and things, showed the council was hostile towards religion, and thus have allowed this particular individual to now discriminate against gay people. It's pretty interesting. They did, as I say, try to limit their scope. So this is only the case in Colorado, where, hey, now it's illegal to discriminate against gays because the commission is apparently slightly anti-Christian, according to the Supreme Court. But there are apparently 21 other states that also have anti-discrimination laws in the rulebooks, and this ruling does not set any precedent for those, or for any other people to find themselves exempted from these anti-discrimination laws.
I sneezed.
Hmm.
Ouch.
Anyways.
Squishing my nuts, dude. No, right then. Can companies take over the International Space Station? NASA's new administrator thinks so. Oh, great. NASA is talking to... Ow, my balls. Fuck, seriously, I need to stop doing that. Talking to several international companies about forming a consortium that would take over operation of the International Space Station and run it as a commercial space lab. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstine said in an interview, so before we preface this, I want to say, yes, this is how we get Wayland Corp. Sure, this is how we get aliens and predators, but this is also how we get innovation and the future. I mean,
it's not like businesses couldn't do research in space if they wanted to. This is just handing over an international cooperative, for scientific research. Private businesses. This is...
I don't know if that's so true. So, it depends on, who gobbles this up. If SpaceX fucking buys the whole thing out themselves,
I don't even agree with SpaceX. I don't want private industry owning and running this thing.
So, as me and my friends have discussed many, many times before, the future of space honestly is companies like SpaceX.
No, they have a
privatization. But privatization is the only real way that we're going to see tangible space.
No,
government.
I disagree with that. World governments can work together to come to a cooperative space.
They can, but they would have to, and they'd also have to throw more money into it. I believe most of the countries across every border have been been cutting back funding to their space programs. I know America has heavily, and we are one of the leaders in it.
We were one of the leaders in space.
Yeah. So
Japan's increasing. Well, really, China's increasing a lot of their space investments. The ESA, which is the Europe Science Administration, whatever, I think they're increasing their space funding. China has been really doing a lot of space launches with rovers and designs and things, so they're increasing their space funding.
Yeah, but see, those are on separate scales. This isn't together on the ISS.
Well, actually, all of those nations do contribute to the ISS. Canada, Europe, Japan. A lot of the modules on the ISS have been built by and maintained by astronauts from all over the world, from Russia, America, Asia, China. Except, not China. China's the only country that's actually legally bound not to be able to participate in the ISS.
Yeah. So this is the deal. We have to use. Don't we have to use Russia to bury goods still?
Yeah, well, we have to use Russia to bury. Well, we're not using Russia to ferry goods because we're contracting that out to like SpaceX and other people, Boeing and shit.
Well, currently launching.
Because that's just launching satellite or things with supplies. But launching people, we still contract out to Russia.
Okay, yeah, we go with Russia. So that's the thing. I believe the only people up there though is American and Russian cosmonauts. I don't think Japan has any people up there.
Currently, I'm not sure, but they have had them. It's an international effort. They get astronauts from multiple different nations.
Yeah, but I think Japan's space...
Like under the law, there must be at least one American and one cosmonaut
one
on the ISS, but there is no... let's see.
Anyway, while you look at it, I'm going to continue this. The White House touched off a heated discussion about the future of orbiting laboratories.
Apparently, there are only 3 astronauts in space.
2 American and 1 Russian guy?
I think 2 Russians and an American.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make.
But that's the current group.
Oh, yeah, but I haven't heard of the Japanese or anybody else that's actually taking part in the ISS.
Oh, actually, sorry, there are 6 people on there.
Oh, okay.
Wrong number. So, let's see: American, Russian, American, German, Russian. Actually, apparently, these 3 people literally just went up into space because apparently they've literally only been in space a day.
Wow.
If this is actually accurate, so there's a German up there.
That's new. I wasn't aware Germany even goes up there.
Again, like I said, other nations have astronauts that they send to the ISS. It's not just America and Russia.
But it is mostly America and Russia, as you've just said. And I think
because America's running the damn thing. Exactly. And commander is an American, Andrew Festool.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see, they have 1, 2, 3, 4... Apparently 5 flight engineers.
Interesting. Anyway, carrying on.
But yeah, no, the ISS is the International Space
Station. Direct government funding of the station by 2025. While working on a transition plan to turn the station over to the private sector. Some members of Congress said they would vigorously oppose any plan that ends the station's life prematurely. Senator Ted Cruz said the decision to end funding for it was the result of numbskulls at the Office of Management and Budget. What? Ted Cruz said something halfway intelligent?
Yeah, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this.
What?
But I agree with Ted Cruz on this one particular statement.
Holy shit.
And I think Ted Cruz, the only reason Ted Cruz is saying it is because one of the districts he represents is Houston's districts.
And Houston's
so, of course,
big
Houston
with NASA.
Is really big with NASA and the ISS. So, of course, he wants to make people happy.
Yeah.
But also, it's not politically good to not want to fund the fucking ISS. Yeah. It's the premier destination for scientific research in space.
Yep.
The only destination.
And it was unclear who, if anyone, would want to take over operations of the station, which cost NASA about $3 billion to $4 billion a year, and is run by an international partnership that includes the United States, Russia, Japan, Canada, and the European Space Agency.
There you go. Like I said.
An orbiting laboratory that flies some 250 miles above the Earth's surface. It has been continuously inhabited by astronauts since 2000. A former congressman... $1 billion
as a part of NASA's budget, if I may interject, is really relatively small. Because NASA itself barely gets $15 billion or less per year.
Cool. A former congressman from Oklahoma, Bridenstine, was confirmed by the Senate.
This is the person who's person who's running NASA. The NASA administrator is a former congressman.
Oh, by a narrow 50 to 49 vote. Just ring loud. It's a pretty hardcore vote.
By the members' vote, yeah.
After the post had remained vacant for 15 months, Jesus Christ, Democrats had rallied against his nomination, saying he lacked the managerial and scientific background for the job. Yeah, he's Republican.
Well, no, it's because people who are NASA administrators generally either come from NASA or the military, or science. They're scientists.
Yeah.
Because NASA's a highly technical and scientific
it's not a fucking government job. What is government job? It's not it's not a political job.
It's something that actually has concrete impacts on science in the world.
Yep. And many have labeled him a climate change denier over controversial comments by Bridenstine, a conservative Republican, had made in the past. He's a conservative Republican. Oh no.
His claim to fame was running the Missouri Flight Museum, which if you talk to people in Missouri or wherever the fuck you're in...
Hey, Crucifix! How is that place? He lives in Missouri.
Yeah, yes it is. Alright, on to this news in Texas.
Texas. Oh, my exes live in Texas.
So, a Texas principal censors a paper and bans all editorials and outs an award-winning advisor. So this is talking about, obviously, a Texas high school principal. So after censoring the Eagle National online 3 times this academic year, over concerns the story made the school look bad, the principal of Prosper Texas High School, located in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area, so it's up near you, will not review the contract of a nationally acclaimed newspaper and yearbook advisor. So Lori Oglesby?
Lori Oglesby. Peter. I think it's Peter.
I'm just going to call her Lori.
Just call her Lori. Yep.
There we go. Lori Petter, a journalism teacher with 34 years experience in 3 states.
Christ.
So clearly a highly acclaimed, teacher. Has been at Prosper since May of 2016. Last year alone, this is really impressive, I believe, for these students. Last year alone, her journalism students racked up more than 175 state and national journalism awards.
Holy shit!
These kids are gonna go places with her direction.
For real.
That's impressive as fuck.
Especially if those kids actually like doing what they're doing, like journalism. Mm-hmm. My family will take you. Go be a good fucking reporter.
Yeah. In October of 2017, copy editor Isabella Abraham published an article about senior class movie night that was canceled due to miscommunication between past administrators and John Burden, who's completing his first year as principal. The article was online for 1 day when Burden told Lori Petter to take it down. He said that the information in the article was not uplifting or accurate. The Eagle stands by the accuracy of the story. So Miss O and her students have distinguished themselves across the state and country for their exemplary work, according to an online bio on the school's website. Burdett then told the Eagle staff that any articles or editorials that went against community norms were to be sent for him to approval. The paper then started submitting all articles by Burdett, since they felt the policy was unclear. Right. On March 23rd, Eagle staff was informed that Lori Petter would not be returning to Prosper for another school year. According to the associate editor, Neheda Marhira, Burdett did not provide a reason to why Petter was not coming back. The school is not required to explain the decision because she was under contract. We're extremely concerned, said Marhira. We already knew that Burdett wasn't on our side. Stack believes Miss Petter's contract was not being renewed is retaliatory. That Burdett doesn't like our advisor and that he's taking it out on our staff. Anytime he sees an opportunity to shut us down in any sort of way, he will take it. God, these kids are getting an up-close and personal view of how the system will try and shut their shit down.
Yep.
But you know what I hope they do? First edition of the next school year, just expose, tell all about, the principal and his bullshit. Fuck running it by him, print him and just push them out.
Mm-hmm.
What's he gonna do? If he's gonna try and take away your support and your advisor who has an impressive resume, and especially considering that y'all are apparently extremely nationally and state recognized for journalism, Fucking show him what you can do with your journalism.
Rip that man a new asshole.
Pretty much.
That's what I'd say.
I look forward to seeing whatever paper they're going to come out about this.
Right.
Anyways.
All right. Judge in Brock Turner rape case gets recalled. The controversial judge who sparked outrage after offering a lenient sentence to Brock Turner, a former Stanford University swimmer convicted of sexual assault, was recalled from office Wednesday, becoming the first Californian jurist recalled from the bench in 86 years. Santa Clara, every time I see Santa Clara, because we have a fucking data, since we have a, what is it? Shit.
Data center?
Yeah, since we have a data center there. And it's triggering. Yeah, anyway. Superior Court Judge Aaron Persky, 56, became the target of a recall after sentencing Turner, who could have faced 14 years in prison, to only 6 months behind bars. While the now famous 2016 sentencing hearing happened before the #MeToo movement took hold over the country, ballots cast Tuesday were made in the backdrop of the movement, which has emboldened sexual assault survivors and forced criminal investigations and oustings of powerful men, most notably with Harvey Weinstein. Persky's supporters contend Turner's sentence was lawful and the recommended sentence from probation officials, but those calling for the recall say this is just one of many sentences handed out for Persky that were far too light. The results of the vote came nearly 2 years after Persky's decision. During the sentence hearing, Persky cited Turner's age, the fact that both he and the victim were drunk, and that prison time could have a severe impact on Turner's life, as the reasoning behind the lenient 6-month sentence. And I'm just going to have to say that those are all reasonable things. I mean, I'm not 100%.
He raped a woman.
It says sexual assault. I don't know. Did he actually rape her? It says they were both drunk. So, I don't know.
Well, this is the case, if you remember, where they were at a party and then he dragged her, she was unconscious at this point. And he dragged her behind a dumpster, behind the frat house, whatever, and started having sex with her. Attempted. And then 2 people saw that happen and, stopped it. But I mean, still, this is, I tie this to a similar case. Remember that case that we covered just a few weeks ago of that British chick who stabbed her boyfriend multiple times?
Because
she's an up-and-coming, hard-working woman,
right?
Who's this would hurt her future career as being a doctor. So obviously we can't put her in jail or give any time.
Yeah.
I equate that to this because we have to be very strict and punish people within reason to the extent of the law.
No, I definitely.
I mean, for something like this, I think a year or 2 behind bars or something, maybe a rehabilitative program.
This is the American judicial system.
I
don't have fucking
know.
rehabilitation.
We don't rehabilitate, but I mean, things like that, that would, in jail, but also in a rehabilitation program within jail, to give him the help he needs to prevent this from happening in the future.
Yeah.
I think that would be a more reasonable approach than just sure, you got 3 months, you're good.
No, I think it is. Anyway, Turner ended up only serving 3 months due to good behavior. He was convicted of assault with intent to commit rape of an intoxicated/unconscious person, penetration of an intoxicated person, and penetration of an unconscious person.
It's interesting those are 2 different charges.
It's
interesting, but I guess
those
that makes
are
sense.
actually... Yeah, there's 2. Wait, penetration... No, so 3. It's 3.
Yes, 3 different charges.
Yeah. Good night, Krusty Dicks.
Okay, see you, Christmas. Have a good one.
Yep.
Anyways, you done?
Yeah.
All right. So, good news from Trump administration.
That doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, I know, but it's also good news thanks to Kim Kardashian. So I don't know how to feel about this.
I feel horrible for both now. I feel bad for all of the above.
Yep. So Trump commutes the sentence of a grandmother serving life on drug charges after Kim Kardashian meeting.
What?
So President Donald Trump commuted the life sentence of Alice Marie Johnson on Wednesday just days after reality star Kim Kardashian West lobbied the president in the Oval Office, needing to intervene on behalf of Johnson, who was serving a life sentence on drug charges.
Wow.
Johnson, 63, has been in federal prison for more than 21 years
Jesus
after being
Christ.
found guilty in connection to a drug trafficking conspiracy. And she would have died behind bars without the president's clemency. She is one of thousands of Americans serving life sentences for nonviolent offenses, according to the 2013 report by the ACLU, a vast majority of whom are there on drug crime. This is why we need to reform, America's criminalization of drugs and
For real, though.
get rid of the DEA. They're the problem.
Really?
And the thing is, and what a lot of people don't know is people think, oh, the DEA, it's been around forever, and it's an important branch of federal law enforcement and such to prevent drugs. No, the DEA has only been around for like less than 10 years, I believe. I think exactly 10 years. I think they started in 08 or 06. So it's a relatively new organization. It's not like the FBI or, the CIA, or it's not one of these organizations that have been around forever. Not to say that age is a reason to keep something around.
No.
But I'm just saying.
Age is a reason to kill something. I mean, yeah.
But I'm just saying, the DEA can go. The DEA we don't need the DEA. Fuck the DEA. They're the cause of so much problems.
Well, it's the DEA, and then we also have the ATF, which is, also very similar to the DEA.
Yeah, but I don't know enough about the ATF to comment on that.
It's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, and the DEA's Drug Enforcement Agency. They overlap in so many cases, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, I guess. Well, I suppose it made more sense way back in the day.
I guess.
I guess DEA and ATF got to work together because if drug criminals are using weapons that are illegally gotten and such.
Weapons, and also there's the fact that, tobacco, and then it turns into wacky tobacco, and just things like that. I feel like I'm getting shorter. My face is disappearing.
You really are.
My face is disappearing more. It's probably because this chair is actually ripping and falling on this side. So eventually I'm just going to fall through this chair and get really pissed off. All you're going to hear is, fuck, as it happens.
Yeah. But yes, there's a quote here. So Miss Johnson has accepted responsibility for her past behavior and has been a model prisoner over the past 2 decades, the White House said in a statement.
She's an old fucking lady. The fuck else is she gonna do? You be a hard criminal? Don't you fuck with me, I'm gonna shank you, you fucking coon. What?
Pretty much. Well, the administration will always be very tough on crime. It believes those who have paid their debt to society and worked hard to better themselves while in prison deserve a second chance.
What second chance does she have? She's old.
Yeah. But at least she's not in jail or prison.
Well, she is in jail. Well, not anymore, but...
Not anymore. But she was for 21 years, and nothing will ever be able to compensate her.
So the real question is, what the fuck is she gonna do now? She's old as shit.
Really, not much. If anything,
she can't really she can't. It kind of sucks because she's kind of just as bad off, if not worse. Cause she can get a job, but she can't really do anything. She's old.
At best, she probably has a good decade worth of time for working a job.
Mm-hmm.
But again, she is freaking 63-year-old woman who hasn't been able to pay into Social Security for 21 years, and it's probably going to be pretty limited if anybody's going to hire her for something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate. But I'm sure to her it's better that she's just simply not in prison. She'll deal with what she has to deal with after that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But I do understand, because it is unfortunate for her to not have a lot of the things that she would need to be able to take care of herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh, way to bring down a feel-good story. It's not a good story.
I'm just hitting you with the realism. You know me. That's what I do. It's what I'm here for.
Yeah. I'd rather she never gone to jail because we didn't criminalize drugs.
Right? I'd rather us have fucking... It's almost as if we could have fixed the system by now, or could have started working on it and been somewhere and done something useful. But, you know, that's too much to ask for Americans to fix something that's broken. So they're just either band-aiding it or not giving a shit. I mean, I don't really, I'm not one to talk because I don't really give a shit, except for I know that there's a need, and I would like for it to be in place. The problem is I can't do anything because I'm just a person. I can vote for somebody that could actually do something, but nobody does. I think the justice system isn't even really talked about. Unless it's like, you know, with Trump's whole thing.
Well, Bernie talks about it.
Well, again, I would have voted for that man. We all know that.
Yeah, and Bernie talks about ending the drug war and ending, you know, the criminalization and, you know, all these people who committed non-violent drug offenses that are clogging up the American prison system. You know, because America is the fucking world's, you know, we account for 5% of the population, and then we account for 25% of the world's prisoners.
Yep.
You know, if we actually, out of all 50 states, we have more people per 100,000 in jail in every single state than most of the world. I think out of the entire world, there's about 3 nations that have more people in prison than a couple of the states. It's like El Salvador and Cuba and maybe one other person, maybe one other country per 100,000. And they're not even at the top of the list. They're down at the bottom of the list with Hawaii. So we really need to fix our shit.
Most definitely.
Fix our enforcement and our laws and our, you know, how we enforce them and what we do, because we are spending billions and hundreds of millions of dollars on prisoners, people who shouldn't be in fucking prison in the first place.
Right.
For crimes that are fucking pinche little things that don't do anything.
Oh no, this guy was caught with like over 0.5 grams of marijuana just walking down the street. You know?
Yep.
It's a little nuts, some of that stuff, to be honest.
Anyways, so a video of Birmingham, yes. A video in Birmingham showed Johnson throwing her arms wide to embrace family after leaving the Federal Corrections Institution in Aliceville Wednesday. "I'm free to hug my family," Johnson said. "I'm free to live life. I'm free to start over. I cannot. This is the greatest day of my life. My heart is just bursting with gratitude for what has taken place." She thanked President Trump in Kardashian vest. The ACLU, who helped represent Johnson in her bid for clemency, also expressed gratitude to Trump on Wednesday and pushed him to consider commutations for others serving harsh sentences for nonviolent crimes. A lot of this problem from a lot of these conservative states, fucking 3 strikes law.
What
you get caught with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where you get caught with drugs 3 times and then, like literally, like they do nothing else. This doesn't happen for anything else except for drugs, where you get caught 3 times and you get a mandatory minimum sentence that is extremely harsh. Like in a lot of these states, the mandatory minimum is like fucking decades.
You mean life?
15. Well, no, in this case, it's because she was a part of a drug trafficking thing that she got harsher sentences. But I mean, just in general, the mandatory minimum is like 15, 20 years.
15. Well, 20.
It is extremely long term.
20 is life, I thought.
40 is life.
Oh, is it 40? Okay.
I think it's 40. Yeah. But I mean, you know, that's a mandatory minimum. You know, oh my gosh, you got caught with, you know, half an ounce of weed 3 times. Oh, well, that's 3 strikes. You're fucking going to jail for fucking ever.
Pretty much.
You know,
and
your life is ruined.
And they bring an umpire in. Yeah!
Pretty much.
That would be hilarious, kind of.
And the thing is, 3 strikes minimum. They don't do anything to actually prevent more drugs. None of this shit does. They know this. You know, all they have to do is look at freaking the 2 nations that have decriminalized and even legalized drugs.
Well, it's certain drugs too. It depends on what drugs. But I mean, like, and a lot of it's weed because weed's not that bad.
Yeah, a lot of it is marijuana. But you know what? Decriminalize heroin and freaking cocaine. You know, I forget the nation. I just read about it, where they
Canada
actually Was it Canada?
No.
It might have been.
Canada made like safe places to go inject and stuff.
Yeah, no, well, it was some government who they made those places where you could go and check. They provided you needles. Hell, they even provided you the drugs, the heroin or whatever, that were of a high quality.
I don't think that was Canada. That was somewhere else in Europe.
I forget the nation, but because they knew that, if you could provide somebody with drugs of a higher quality than what they can get on the street, and you provide them with a clean place and clean needles, they'll go. And you know what happened? The use of heroin and other drugs went down by like 30-40% because they also provided them counseling and resources.
You can do this drug, but if you want to quit, we're gonna help you quit.
Yeah, and and it worked.
Nice.
So America needs to do that.
Yeah, that would again. Part of our problem is our mentality in general. We don't really give a shit about our fellow Americans. We say it, we do, but like if I don't know. Trying to describe the way most people think and the way I hear most people talk, especially because we're in Texas, so I get a lot of this.
Yeah.
It's that they think something should be done, and usually the answer is, don't use my money, don't raise my taxes, don't waste my money on somebody else, but throw them away forever, just get them out of it. Basically, it's kind of like the out of sight, out of mind thing. As long as they're gone, they don't care.
Yeah, but they have no concept. They have no understanding of the loss to the future, to the economy, to the cost of imprisoning people. There's so much. If they really, truly were like, it's my taxes and they're going to increase costs and, it's going to cost all this money. Look at how much you're fucking spending for all these prisons.
Yeah, it'd be... If you say that, think about the school and how, like, teachers were against giving the students lunch for free at no extra cost to anybody and nobody losing money.
That's true.
It's just like, that's true. Why then? That's a literal no-brainer.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Which makes no fucking sense. Just like, all these poor kids who can't afford food, fuck them.
Right?
I may be a teacher, but fuck these kids.
I don't know. That's part of that other stuff's the reason why I was like, man, I really don't fucking want to, I don't trust teachers with guns and shit.
Yeah. Anyways, so, Johnson has been a model prisoner, according to the online petition started by her daughter, that she even mentored women, written and produced plays, and became an ordained minister while behind bars. The petition said part of her conspiracy charges was for passing messages back and forth between traffickers. And there's a quote here from Miss Johnson. Please wake up, America, and help end this injustice. It's time to stop over-incarcerating your own citizens, because it's what's going on. Quite right. Anyways, on to the tech news.
Oh, yes. Good old... We were actually just talking about ZTE the other day, because there's a ZTE building right next to where we work.
Interesting. They would probably be closed down.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe that, like, the U.S. government and also the other tech companies are urging people to get away from using ZTE. Anyway, U.S. reaches deal with China's ZTE, says Wilbur Ross. The U.S. has reached a deal with Chinese tech firm ZTE that will remove a ban that prevented the company from buying parts from U.S. suppliers. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross has said, the deal will involve ZTE paying a $1 billion penalty and hiring a compliance team chosen by the U.S. ZTE will also be required to replace its management board within 30 days. The U.S. had blocked ZTE's access to American suppliers, saying it had violated a sanctions settlement. China's President Xi Jinping asked the U.S. to reconsider that punishment, which forced ZTE, the world's fourth largest mobile phone maker and major employer in China, to suspend major operations. Mr. Ross said the fine was the largest penalty ever levied by the Commerce's Bureau of Industry and Security and pledged to continue monitoring ZTE's behavior. The new deal will also see ZTE paying $400 million to a holding account to ensure against future violations. Just sounds like extorting money. Anyway, a bipartisan group of senators introduced legislation on Thursday that would restore the prior penalties. Its odds of passing are unclear. Senator Chuck Schumer, I just love that name, Chuck, a leading Democrat, calling Congress to reverse the deal. There's absolutely no good reason that ZTE should get a second chance, and this decision marks a 180-degree turn away from the president's promise to be tough on China, he said. ZTE is based in Shenzhen, which we also have a data center there, close to Hong Kong.
Yeah, Shenzhen is really big.
And was founded in 1985. It is China's second largest telecoms manufacturer and depends on U.S.-made components for the production of handsets. The U.S. banned access to U.S. suppliers in April after finding ZTE violated a settlement reached after it admitted to shipping goods to Iran and North Korea, countries subject to U.S. trade sanctions.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty ironic that Trump is working so fucking hard to save ZTE. You know,
well, I believe part of his thing was because ZTE employs a shit ton of people in America.
Yeah, but I mean, why is he more concerned about?
Because he's concerned about keeping American jobs. Because I feel like American.
No. It's mainly Chinese jobs that are really employed. That's the thing. Most of ZTE's work goes on in China.
I mean, I guess you could say that, but like, I look at the ZTE building here in Dallas, and ZTE building is huge. It's a multi-floor office.
But he's not concerned about American jobs. He's concerned about saving ZTE.
I guess.
You know,
didn't he originally come out and fucking put these bans on ZTE because they were doing
he didn't
stuff?
come out. The commerce, the U.S. Trade and Commerce Department did because they broke the law by selling technology to North Korea and Iran while they're under sanctions. So they broke the law, and then the Commerce Department, within their authority, implemented these punishments against them, as was their right to do so.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that ZTE... The thing is, ZTE, they license their chips from Qualcomm.
Mm-hmm.
They license the antennas from Broadcom.
Basically like everybody else does.
Yeah, and they license their operating system, of course, from Google. Mm-hmm. So ZTE, unlike some phone manufacturers, relies on all of their parts from American companies. Because there's rock chips, which are made by Chinese companies. It's a processor. And
hey
also,
man,
of course,
it's not ZTE's fault that Chinese processors suck ass.
I don't have a rock chip Chromebook. It's decent.
Do you? I don't know. I just know Qualcomm's are dank. Qualcomm's not even American though.
No, Qualcomm is Qualcomm's isn't American, or Qualcomm Samsung.
Qualcomm isn't Samsung. Well, Qualcomm I think got bought out by Samsung. But Qualcomm was originally another Korean or Taiwanese manufacturer, I believe. Some sort of Asian manufacturer.
Qualcomm's headquartered in San Diego. I thought they were an American company. I was right. Yeah, Qualcomm's an American multinational semiconductor and telecommunications equipment.
Oh, is Qualcomm actually American? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Qualcomm's American. I thought they were. Yeah, Qualcomm, Broadcom.
I know Broadcom is.
They're all American companies. MediaTek, that's what it is. MediaTek, which makes the processor in that, is out of Taiwan, which is, not China.
Yeah.
I'm going controversial there. Anyways. Yeah. So this is really cool because we have VR, so I may have to go check this out one of these days.
I mean, we could do it here. There's a Dave & Buster's up here. Actually, probably a couple of them.
Yep. And they're actually showing up next week. So I got it. Texas meetup. We're going to Dave & Buster's.
Texas meetup. Your room that's supposed to be your room is the VR room. Deal with it, nerd. I don't know. Maybe within the next week or two you can get a job up here and move up here.
Yeah, maybe.
That would be convenient for the Texas meetup. Also, then I wouldn't have to bitch you to bring your car. Just bring your fucking car. I swear to God, if I have to go drive down there just to drive your car back up here, I will. Then I'd have to drive back down.
Anyways, Dave & Buster's is building HTC Vive equipped VR arcades. So Dave & Buster's plans on installing more than 500 HTC Vive VR headsets in its arcades across the US and Canada this month. with a subtle acknowledgement, apparently, that many arcades have nothing better to offer than a VR experience in 2018.
Huh?
I don't know. The headsets will show up June 14th. You should just call the local Dave & Buster's up there and see if they're going to have them.
I don't care enough. You can call them. You're off more days than I am.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm some scrub from Bay City. Do you guys have that VR up there? Y'all guys got any of that VR up here?
Pretty much. Because this headset's inclusion is the result of a partnership between Dave & Buster's and HTC. The arcade company says it plans to announce exclusive content, although it hasn't provided any specifics. The news makes sense, given that VR entertainment centers keep popping up. There are multiple in New York City, where visitors can experience VR often for the first time. A company called The Void just announced today that it's planning to open up 9 VR experience centers. Yeah, I know there's one in Houston off of 59, and I'm sure there's probably 1 or 2 up there in Dallas.
Oh, what?
VR entertainment centers.
I want to open one up still. We can do it, man. We have the technology.
Yeah, but we don't have the money.
Well, you do now, even though you're going to take a hit on that money if you ever pull it out. Apparently you have to sit on that for a few years.
I'll have to pay capital gains.
Unless you sit on it for a few years.
I guess.
Supposedly it's 2 years.
Yeah. Maybe eventually the headsets will lose their novelty for the majority of consumers, but right now, high-end VR experiences, which require an expensive computer, as well as an actual headset, they will likely expose the kids and their parents to VR. Excuse me. When they haven't previously had a chance to try it.
VR is fun, man.
Yeah, VR is awesome. VR.
No, stop. That's a good song. Don't ruin it. The youth of the nation. Anyway.
The youth of the nation.
I like POD, man. Good shit. Man. Anyway, Australia drafts laws forcing Facebook and Google to reveal encrypted data. Oh no. Technology, The Guardian. Well, they haven't hit Snapchat. Barnett is still good. Technology companies such as Facebook and Google would be forced to give Australian security agencies access to encrypted data under legislation to be introduced by the Turnbull government. But the government has refused to say how the security agencies would access the data. Yeah, so I was going to say, they can turn over the encrypted data, but it doesn't say they have to provide encryption keys.
Yeah, and the legislation is actually being kept secret, so...
Interesting.
They're going to pass secret legislation that does something revealing encrypted information or something.
That's pretty weird.
It's very sketchy.
Right? The government has drafted legislation to be introduced in the coming months that would force companies to cooperate with security agencies seeking access to encrypted data. Taylor has said the legislation will avoid introducing weaknesses in encrypted data devices by avoiding using backdoor methods of accessing data, such as a so-called key to decrypt data. So they're going to forcefully decrypt it without the decryption key. Basically, they're going to legally hack other people's information.
Well, what they've also talked about is possibly just intercepting the data before it has a chance to become encrypted.
So, legally hacking and legally doing man-in-the-middle attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again,
okay. This is a bunch of bullshit, and this is, of course, being done by politicians who have no understanding of technology.
Yep. So, previous attempts to legislate to allow access through what is termed as a backdoor for security agencies has been frustrated by tech companies' reluctance to allow government interference. Backdoor entry points have been resisted because they could introduce weaknesses in encryption services that could be exploited, which is true. Having a backdoor for anyone, including yourself, means that anybody else can use it. It's a door. I mean, it can be opened.
Yeah, and the door swings both ways.
Right? So what he is proposing, though, is unclear. On Wednesday, he dodged multiple questions about whether the legislation would mean forcing companies to include surveillance codes in devices so that agencies could access data before it is encrypted. But Nigel Fair, from the Centre for Internet Safety at the University of Canberra said if the legislation avoided having to use a backdoor entry to encrypted data, then it was likely that it would use a front door, a means of accessing the information before it was encrypted, which is what we were just talking about. What we're probably talking about here is straight up an agreement with the device manufacturer to enable law enforcement agencies at some stage to access the data, he said.
Yeah, but no manufacturer would agree to this.
No, this is why
people would sooner pull out of fucking Australia than they would agree to this.
Yep. This is why it would be helpful to actually be able to see legislation. Under what particular circumstances would access be granted? This is really serious eavesdropping, so it should only be used for really serious offending and national security.
Security.
Everything national security.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna roll this video of fucking.
Yep. Roll the video.
Microsoft Sync's data center off Orkney. Alright. Video. Rolling.
Okay.
Soundless video.
Oh, if there's no sound, then just roll it from the link.
Maybe just roll it from the link.
Well, if there's no sound. Yeah, there's supposed to be sound.
Oh.
It's not like it's anything important, it's just some background music.
No, it's fine. We can just talk. Yeah, wait, that's actually a pretty extreme looking data center, to be fair. It's got fucking cameras and everything. So that's a ultra compressed data center in a tube.
Mm-hmm. I think, well, they've tried this before, and I think Google has tried this as well.
Just for what?
Because the big thing about data centers is, of course, they use a shit ton of energy, and a lot of that energy is coming in just to cool them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can put this data center underwater, where it's naturally cold and will naturally keep everything cool, then they don't have to pay for, well, cooling costs.
I feel like it's also just like another weird project. It's going to be one of those like last bastions of humanity thing, where like humanity's extinct and the robot walking on the seafloor, Soma, finds the data store. Anyway. Yeah, whatever. Alright. Oh, yes, we're going to cover this one. That's good. Yeah, so go for it.
Okay. So Microsoft buy GitHub. But for the folks at home who don't know, GitHub is a software development platform that allows developers from around the world to post their source code, or just code in general, and also do updates and other things like that. It is used by millions of people around the world to keep track of and post code. Very important. And on Monday, Microsoft announced plans to buy it for $7.5 billion. It's pretty much the premier freaking code publishing platform,
Yeah.
as far as I'm aware.
A lot of people use it for a lot of reasons. It's also good for like forks and doing things. Also, GitHub has integration in Microsoft operating system as well as Linux and other things.
Mm-hmm. So it makes it very friendly to developers.
Yes.
So GitHub was valued at $2 billion in its last funding round in 2015, though it is yet to turn a profit. Microsoft's Vice President Nat Friedman will assume the role of GitHub CEO. The company said he takes over the developer platform from founder Chris Weinstreth, who stepped down 10 months ago. The future of software development is bright, and I'm thrilled to be joining forces with Microsoft to help make it a reality, Weinstreth said. Their focus on developers lines up perfectly with our own, and their scale, tools, and global cloud will play a huge role in making GitHub even more valuable for developers anywhere.
It's going to be Azure Git. I don't know.
That's going to be terrible.
Right?
It'd be hilarious if GitHub's actually hosted on Google.
Would be, actually.
So GitHub's tools have become essential for software developers to use it to store code, keep track of updates, and discuss issues. The privately held company has more than 23 million individual users in more than 1.5 million organizations. It was on track to book more than 200 million in subscription revenue, including more than 110 million from companies using its enterprise product, GitHub.
Oh, they're gonna target the enterprise area.
Well, it just makes sense. You gotta keep money flowing somehow.
That's all Microsoft wants to do is just enterprise. So they're you know what, they might roll it into Azure. They're like, buy Azure and you get fucking GitHub access or whatever. Package deals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, all right. Yes, my people. AMD unveils 32-core Threadripper 2 CPU. Last year, AMD's Threadripper blew the doors off Intel's HEDT business by offering far more CPU cores at a much lower overall price. The Threadripper 1950X proved far more effective at the $1,000 price point than the Core i9-7900X, though Intel was able to retain overall performance leadership with its Core i9-7900XE, an 18-core chip at $2,000, though we've seen the chip for a bit lower than this retail. But now AMD is positioning itself to claim overall leadership again with the Threadripper 2, a new CPU family with up to 32 cores per CPU. When AMD first demoed Threadripper last year, keen-eyed enthusiasts soon realized the chip packed 2 real Zen die with 8 cores each, but also 2 dummy die that were simply intended to stabilize the overall package. But given that Threadripper is a modular design, there was never any reason why AMD couldn't simply slap down real die and activate a 32-core CPU, analogous to what they've used for EPYC. Turns out that's exactly what they did. According to AMD, Threadripper 2 is based on the Zen Plus architecture and will be available in 2 flavors, a 24-core 48-thread CPU and a 32-core 64-thread CPU. Both will have a base frequency of 3 GHz with a boost of 3.4 GHz. Though this last is a work in progress figure, the end could change before launch.
Because that is rather low.
Yeah, but that is
low.
all
just art still.
But you
in
still
the
have
R&D.
Well, it's low, but not only is it low, you get like double.
You have a shit ton of cores.
Yeah, and if AMD could come out with some sort of technology that could make all of those cores useful to every application, some sort of like proprietary thing that runs kernel level.
Or maybe something open source that runs kernel level.
Well, it's going to have to be proprietary against AMD. It's got to work for their cheap. Well, it could go open source. I don't think they would though. I don't think AMD goes open source. It would be nice, but then it would give the Intel chips maybe some more lead. Either way, like AMD has always been fucking multi-core powerhouses. Their single core performance is just like lacking. As soon as they fix that, AMD is just going to completely nuke Intel.
Which, I mean, their single core performance in like the Ryzen 2s isn't bad.
It's still not up to Intel.
Well, no, compared to the counterpart, for the Intel counterpart, it's on par. I ran the numbers.
I don't think so. It's not on par with the 8700K, no?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Ryzen 7 2700X versus an 8700K. Yeah, they're on par.
The Intel one has better single port performance through multiple benchmarks as I've seen. It's like a 5 to 10%, but still, it's not. It's close. It's closer than it's been before. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, that's significantly lower than the Threadripper in 1950X, which launched with a peak clock of 4 GHz, and it implies that Threadripper 2, like TR itself, will really only be attractive for those users who can truly load the CPU cores with enormous amounts of work. TDP on both chips will be 250 watts, but the demos AMD showed were air-cooled. New motherboard designs are expected to be available due to higher power requirements, though older X99 boards should work. We've said this before in our high-core CPU reviews, but it bears repeating. The higher the core count, the more difficult it is to load the full CPU, or find the applications that won't struggle to find meaningful differences. Exactly what we were talking about. Chips like this can definitely game, but they aren't really intended as gaming CPUs, at least not more than incidentally. But again, the Threadripper in 1950X at 1000, while its 18-core i9-7980XE is a $2,000 chip, the competitive field between the two CPUs is limited. If AMD positions its 32-core Threadripper 2 at 2000 and Intel brings its own 28-core workstation chip at 4000, the gap between the two solutions will again be broad. I don't know. The $2,000 price difference is kind of a big fucking deal.
No, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Well, it says
that the gap will be broad.
Yeah. But Intel only like goes over by like 10. Like that's what I've noticed. And if they're over, like they overshoot after launch, they'll bring it down. Kind of like with the 8700K. 8700K was $500 originally. Now they brought it down to like closer to $300.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to consider if people are going to use this in workstations, they're not going to wait for it to come down. They're just going to go with AMD.
Maybe.
Because if you have something that has more cores, the same gigahertz and, all that extra power.
So the biggest deal is it's if they use custom builds, but as most companies I've been in, nobody does custom builds. It would have to be if Dell or somebody picks these up and makes it their standard, or makes it one of
which they probably will, because
they're already one of the Epic and stuff, and so is, Cisco. Basically, everybody's starting to get into introducing AMD.
Yeah, because like we saw earlier this year, with HP and Dell and Lenovo all supporting Ryzen in their new platforms. And, of course, they'll probably also move out to support in their workstations, the Threadripper. Because, again, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
If you can provide the same amount of power for a whole hell of a lot cheaper, people will want to buy that.
Yep. And also the Threadripper is good for, workstations. Workstations are supposed to be for, like, rendering and super, hardcore powerhouses like that. So that'll be good for those.
Yeah, because, hell, I'd use a Threadripper over an Epic for a server, especially
because it's cheaper.
Threadripper 2. Yeah, because it's cheaper, and Threadripper is compatible with ECC memory. It doesn't have the 8-channel that Epic does. It has the quad channel, so there'll be some slight increase in memory latency as the other cores who don't have the memory channels go to access memory because they have to go through the cores that do. But I'm willing to let that go.
Yeah. You'll also lose, total memory or whatever, max total memory. But the max total memory right now, I've seen the amounts of memory in our servers at work. Oh my god.
How much is it?
Just think of max server memory on every single box we buy. Everything is maxed.
2 terabytes?
Cores. I don't think it's 2 terabytes.
Because that's how much Epic is compatible with. 2 terabytes.
I don't think there's enough RAM. I don't think there's enough RAM that goes that high. I don't know. How many? It's 2 terabytes. 2 terabytes is 2,000 gigs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we go up to that high. But we go up to almost, I don't think, but yeah, we go up to 600, 700 gigs in most of the servers we have. So it's a fuck ton of RAM.
No, that is a lot of RAM.
And for most server builds, it's here you get 2 cores with 4 gigs of RAM or 6 gigs or whatever. The standards for people is low.
So one host can run a lot of fucking processing.
Oh yeah, a lot of servers. Unless people have this weird build. So that's the standard build. So people can provision whatever they want. Some of these builds that people provide. So a dude was oh yeah, I need today he was I need 64 gigs of RAM and 32 cores or some shit. and Bobby was holy shit. And he's yeah, we can do that. You have to submit a ticket, and I'm going to have to talk with Kevin. But that's a huge custom build. He's alright. He's we can give you 32 gigs of RAM, and if you need it, we can upgrade you later. That's a good thing about VMs. You can just scale them. The core count doesn't matter, because the cores that they use, the fucking things you use.
It's a shared system.
Yeah.
Unless you do have resources that are specifically fully devoted.
No, it's all shared.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yep.
On to our stupid and crazy news. The first story of it. A man shot by dancing FBI agent offered free drinks forever at a nightclub.
What?
Yep,
oh,
so
that's the one who accidentally fucking discharged his gun as he was dancing. That's right.
Yep, let's show the video.
Oh, let me change topic. I saw this too. I was rip. Crazy news. And here's the video. Also still no sound.
There's actually no sound in this. And look, he's dancing, he's getting it, and then backflip.
Yep.
And then there goes the gun, and then fucking rushes to pick it up and shoots a poor man. I love it, and then he's hands up, sorry, I'm walking away, fuck it.
Yeah, right? I just want to fucking roll this back a few times. Oop, there goes the gun. Oh shit. He grabbed it and just like, I'm trying to see where he reached for. See if I can slow this down enough.
Well, there is a slow motion function.
I know. Just want to see like.
Well, use it.
It looks like he just grabbed the gun outside. It doesn't look like he even put his finger in the trigger. Yeah, he didn't even put his hand all the way on the gun. Is this fake?
No, it's real. It's being investigated and shit.
Boop. Gun came out of his ass holster, which is possible. So he goes to touch it. And yeah, he doesn't even get his hand all the way on the gun before it goes off. Like, he just touches it and it goes off. His trigger must be really sensitive or something. Because he doesn't.
The FBI special.
Because okay, so they do have. FBI does have special guns. I actually heard some stuff at work because somebody's kids is now a special agent. But anyway, yeah, they have modified triggers and stuff like stock from the Glock factory. So, but still, it doesn't even look like his hand touched the gun before it went off. That I would be really scared after that happened to have that thing sitting in my ass crack, blow off half of my ass.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely a real thing. So the Denver establishment was the scene of a now viral video of an FBI agent whose dancing ended in a gunshot has offered the shooting victim free drinks forever. Mile High Spirits said in a release on Monday that he's welcome at Mile High Spirits to enjoy complimentary drinks forever.
That's pretty cool, to be honest. Like, no other club happens. The club can get shot up and nobody's going to get free drinks at that club. People get stabbed and nobody gets free drinks at that club.
But you also got to imagine this company, the free publicity they're going to get for doing this is well worth however many drinks.
Remember what I always say. All PR is good PR, even negative PR, like somebody getting shot at your club. And now, you giving away free drinks for one dude. That guy better go in there and just get shit-faced every night.
Yep, the victim, who has not been named, was shot around 1 a.m. on Saturday at the Lodo Club and Bar. In the video from a witness submitted to the agency, you can see the off-duty FBI agent dancing and then throwing a backflip moments before his gun falls from his waistband. When the agent, Chase Bishop, reaches down to pick it up, the gun fires, striking a man in the leg. Bishop then, and I love this, because Bishop then casually puts his hands up and walks away from the crowd, as you saw.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry, didn't mean to shoot him, bye, I'm done here.
Did he realize he shot a guy?
He would have had to. He's a goddamn FBI agent.
I mean, just because you're an FBI agent doesn't mean you're smart. You just have to have a college degree and go through training.
Yeah. I would assume he knew. Anyways, Bishop was questioned at the Denver Police Headquarters before being released to an FBI supervisor. Denver Police's homicide unit is handling the investigation, and charges will be determined by the district attorney's office. I don't know why the homicide unit is investigating, but okay. But yeah, fucking clearly. Because isn't there normally a little strap that goes to hold the gun in the holster?
Depends. So, there's Kydex holsters, which are molded holsters that are you just drop it in there. There's not normally a strap unless you get something with a strap specifically for that. Because most of the time, you're going to be standing up and gravity's going to hold your gun there. Also, the Kydex holsters and stuff are supposed to be, until they get worn out, they're really tight. So, getting your gun in and getting it out is a pain in the ass sometimes. So it just depends on how worn the holster is or isn't. So, he could have honestly just been, ghetto, style, fucking had it just literally in his waistband, between his boxers and fucking his pants. Which, yeah, obviously.
But he said he had a proper holster.
Yeah, I don't know. I would say they were using a Kydex holster or some sort of holster with just gravity and it wasn't strapped in. Because it has to be easy access, easy to grab, and easy to pull and shoot. So, yeah. It's possible that while he's doing a flip, centrifugal force? Centrifugal force? One of the two. Probably centrifugal would cause it to, fucking fly out. Also because he's not on the ground, he's going around. Anyway, either way, it's fucked. She will not be missed. Children deliver harsh send-off in mother's death notice. This is some shit that I would say. Not to maybe to my mom. Probably my sister. The 105-word memorial in a small-town newspaper in Minnesota was unquestionably blunt. The Redwood Falls Gazette in Redwood Falls, Minnesota, population 5,254, removed the notice from its website this week after it sparked an outcry from many readers who argued it went too far. The notice opens in typical fashion. Kathleen Demlow, C. Nishnuk, was born in 1938 in Wabasso, Minnesota, and married Dennis Demlow 19 years later. The couple had 2 children, Gina and Jay. Oh my god, Gina. By the third paragraph, the death notice takes an unexpected turn. In 1962, she became pregnant by her husband's brother, Lyle Demlow, and moved to California, it reads. She abandoned her children, Gina and Jay, who were then raised by her parents in Clements, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Shunk. The notice ends on a particularly harsh and bitter note. She passed away on March 31st, 2018 in Springfield and will now face judgment. She will not be missed by Gina and Jay, and they understand that this world is a better place without her. I mean, you know, that's how you fucking feel if your mom left you. It's like, you know, apparently Highcack isn't happy about his stepmom and she died and he could care less and, you know, whatever. Sometimes that shit happens. Sometimes people are shitty people, even your parents. And, like, whatever, however, man. You do what you do. I mean, I know unless my dad atones, I'm going to go to his funeral and I've got nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is.
Anyway, so here we have a duo that takes a TV from pawn shop shelf and then pawns it for $175. So investigators are searching for a man and woman accused of theft after they took a television from the shelf at an Augur's pawn shop and then sold it back to the store.
Okay, so part of that's just their stupidity.
Part of shop's just the bad pawn shop, yeah.
I actually think that that's okay. Pawn shop, you know, is fucking taking money from everybody else and they get money taken from them. I find it funny. Irony, or karma, or both.
The duo, identified as Don Adams and Dana Francois Carter,
Jesus,
was captured on surveillance camera on Thursday afternoon. Theft. The theft occurred about 5:20 p.m. at the pawn shop in the 1600 block of Newton Street. Adam and Francois entered the shop, and then Carter moved to the electronics aisle and took a television from the shelf. She then was seen removing the price stickers from the TV. Carter then brought the television to the front counter, where Adams then pawned it for $175, using his ID to make the deal. According to the New Orleans Parish Court records, a Dana Francois, with the same birthday as Francois Carter, appeared in the magistrate on charges of simple burglary, illegal possession of stolen things, and unauthorized use of an access card in connection with a March crime. So, and it says here that they're asking for anybody with information on them to call the police. But that's just freaking just stupid as hell.
No,
that actually works.
That's funny
too.
on multiple levels, honestly.
It's stupid and funny, but they're just like, hey, we're just gonna take it off the shelf and then go take it to the front counter. Yeah, we totally brought this TV in. There's no way.
You totally didn't just watch me steal it from that counter and, you know, take it from over there and bring it over here and sell it to you. I'm gonna sell your own, dude. That's like the fucking old. That's like charisma level fucking 10 or whatever. It's like a bard. All right, I'm gonna steal your shit and then sell it back to you in front of your face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Basically,
that's gonna be Kenneth in a future D&D session. But yes, anyway, that's all.
Anyways, that wraps it up for our
Table Talk Thursday show. Episode 61. Again, catch us here weekly for your weekly source of news between 8 and 8:30 p.m. CST.
Yes.
As well as the many other showings we have with
the Anime Talk Show on Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. CST, where they talk about the anime seasonals and review, and every other week they have a special guest on to talk about their views on anime.
Yes.
You can also check out Harpy here. He streams regularly. Whatever he's playing at that time.
A little less on that part, but now we have we have D&D on Saturdays starting at 6 p.m. CST.
Yes, the 6 p.m. CST and Shadowrun every other weekend at 5 p.m.
CST, yes. Which we'll
Although
be having
this
it
current
weekend.
week's is cancelled.
Is this week's canceled? Did you get that information?
I think they put an update on the channel.
Okay. Well, we were supposed to have it this week. We have makeup sessions because we missed a week in somewhere in the middle. Tabletop games, it's dependent on the GMs and what they feel like doing and where they feel like doing.
Yep.
So,
but yeah, with Genesis is pretty active. You can check me out on my channel, twitch.tv/rainingdeath909, where I am eventually going to be streaming.
Does Kenneth actually stream? That's the real question.
I've got a gameplay of Uncharted going on. I'm about to start Vampire, Past Cure, and Horizon Zero Dawn. So I have a full list of shit to play.
Are you playing Vampire on your PS4 or on PC?
PC.
Because I saw it come out on PC. Dude, I don't know. Man, I kind of want to play Detroit Becoming Human. All right, so when you buy
and Detroit Becoming Human, that's what I also have to get. So I have 5 brand new games, new to me at least. I have to play.
Wait, do you have an Elgato already? You do, don't you?
I do.
Oh
yes.
yeah, so you can do that. I can't really do that.
Yes, so I have that. So I'm going to be playing that, and y'all are going to be watching that, and it's going to be awesome.
I feel like Kenneth might hang kill ass in this chair and my back and everything. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining or not joining, whatever it is you do. Have a good night, and we'll catch you on the next stream.